This is Gus with an order, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
Good evening and welcome to the Chat with Chaps live show. I'm your host, Joe Zampa, and today we've got a brilliant show lined up for you. Guys, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do that straight away before you forget. So make sure you subscribe. I think we're close to almost 3,000 subscriptions now, so we're not very far away. So your subscribe can make us hit the big magic number. And please like. We haven't got to 300 likes in a while now. Partly that was my fault last week on the old technical. So hopefully this week we can hit 300 likes. So please make sure you like and subscribe. Special thank you to Spectrum VR, who you can see at the bottom of our screen, for their continued support for sponsoring our podcasts this season. And again, just so you know, everything we do goes to Cancer Research UK. I think at the moment we're up to about £20,000 raised so far, which is incredible. I think we had a target of 25,000, but I think that target is going to be about 30,000 the way things are going. So amazing support. And just to mention as well, on April the 6th, we've got the Cancer Research Day of Chat with Chaps at the Millwall ground, where we're playing against Norwich. So we'll all be there, selling T-shirts. There's auctions going on, raffles going off. So please watch this space and look at the older social media when it comes up. Let me introduce you first of all, my co-hosts. So first up, the guy who has all the stats from Saturday, including all our XGs and PGs and other Gs, and including G spots. But in true G spot fashion, they exist in theory, but they can't see him in the final third. Can you, Stato?
Absolutely not.
You good?
I'm very well, and because you're outnumbered 3-1, for any of the cricket fans listening, well done England into the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. And just to piss off Joe a little bit with my intro there, so job well done, I think. But no, very good. Obviously Saturday a bit disappointing, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more. But good to be here, and we got our chance to quickly get over Saturday and get back to it tomorrow. So hopefully the boys can do that.
Excellent. Cheers, Stats. So how's Miss Stats doing? All right?
She might be watching, Joe, so you best be on your best behaviour tonight. She's not happy with you.
Miss Stats. Love you. Cheers, Stato. Next up is last entrance into the show. He wasn't going to make it, but he actually managed to get in right at the last minute. Good to have him on. Fresh back from his trip away in Budapest from a lad's weekend away. Was it a stag do? Was it? It's Benjamin Green.
It was a stag do, mate. Yeah, I'm just about recovered.
Good stuff. What was Budapest like?
Yeah, amazing, mate. Amazing. I don't know if any of the listeners went when we obviously played Ferencvaros in UEFA Cup, but yeah, amazing city. Yeah, really good. If you haven't been out there, highly recommended. And it's not just one to go and have a piss up at. It's a very nice city. So yeah, recommended.
Is it one for the the wives and the girlfriends?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can definitely. If you want to go out on a lads trip, great. If you want to go out with the wives and the girlfriends, Stato, take your missus out there. So
Stato could take Miss Chaps or a new model that he's going to look for in a couple of months' time. Yeah.
Hold on, Miss Chaps is Chris. For a start. So if you're gonna mock me, get it right, Joe.
Miss Stato. Right, moving on. The guy's got more moves and more steppos than Femi Aziz. It's the one. It's the only. Disco Steve. How you doing, Disco?
Evening, Joe. I'm really good. Is it? I can't bloody hear it again. I shall pretend I can hear it. There's something not right. Are you just blacked?
Just go with it. I'm
going. That was my moves. Joe. Yeah. I feel like I'm. Yeah, I'm good. I feel like I'm in a swingers club tonight where you're trying to set stuff up with bloody Chris's missus and all sorts going on. Ben's talking about taking his loved ones to Budapest. Oh, my God, it's the love show.
It's the love, isn't it? It's like making love to a beautiful woman, isn't it? This guy?
We absolutely at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's
3 a.m. in the morning.
Moving on. Yeah, evening, Joe. Wow, what a difference a game makes, eh? Bloody hell, you're up here and then you're down here. But look, let's hope we can talk it through tonight and put a bit of perspective on it and all get up for tomorrow night.
Brilliant, excellent. And coming on the show later, about 7:30, around that time, we're going to have a special guest tonight. It's the ex-Mill Lead Academy Player Care Officer. That's a long title, isn't it? The one and only Craig Heskey. Who's now no longer with the club. He's now moving to the Premiership. All will be revealed if you don't know already. But he'll be joining us this evening. So we spend a little bit of time with us. We'll be having lots of questions for him, no doubt. And also a special mention to a friend of the show, the one and only Charlie Curtis. So Charlie Curtis, as you know, is, there you go, there's Charlie. He done amazing. So he completed the challenge of sitting on all 20,146 seats at the Den, and he absolutely smashed his target of £500 with a whopping £4,770, which is absolutely brilliant. Of course, half the money is going to go to Chat with Chaps for Cancer Research, to our charity, and the other half to go to Lions Food Hub, which is two really worthy charities. So well done there, Charlie, and amazing work for yourself. And a big love to Holly, his mum, and Johnny's dad. John, especially for as he recovered himself from cancer. So massive respect to John, and also massive respect to Holly, because for those few days when Charlie was there, Holly, bless her, had to sort of stand with him and film him and watch him stuff. So it couldn't have been too easy for her either. So special mention to Holly as well. You can still donate as well. I will drop the link into the chat if you give me a second. So you're welcome to donate if you haven't done so already. I know a lot of you have donated already, which we really do appreciate. So I'm going to put that in there now. Then you can all copy and paste it and put a kind donation in there if you don't mind. Fantastic. Good stuff. Right, let's go to the chat. Let's not keep the wait any longer. So first through the door is the one and only Carl Bracey. How you doing, Carl? Hope you well. Disco, friend of the show, Jeff Chandler. Jess, hope you well, Jeff. John MFC. John, unbelievable, mate. £10 donation. So kind. You do it every week. And every time you do it, mate, I'm always shocked and amazed. So thank you so much. Dave, good to see you, mate. Hope you well. Jeff Cook, good to see you. Max, hope you well. Mark, good to see you as well. Gary, good to see you. Hope it's all good. David, good to be with us. Chris Brown, hope you well, mate. NZ Clemo, hope you well. Curtains, good to see you. George, hope you well. Monica Mummy Jones, hope you well. Rob Morgan, good to see you as well. Of course, there's a lot of you in there today. George, good to see you. Crafty, there's Mark. PS94, yay, Stephen. Is that a relative, is it, or a friend of yours? The lovely Bex, hello, beautiful people. Dan, good to see you. All for Gambler. Mark Murphy, there you go. Bex again. David Hambo, good to have you with us. Lions in waiting, good to have you as well. Alex MFC, David Budapest is fabulous there. Ben, there you go. Right, I think that's pretty much everyone there, guy. Look, and Chat with Chaps on there. To clarify, Sutter is welcome to take Mrs. Chaps to Budapest. There you go. I talked about getting upgrades, didn't I? You know, maybe it's working already. I don't know. You know, but I'm sure Miss Chaps will be the first pickings. Of course she will. Right, look, I think we're pretty much done there. Right? So again, I'll get your comments up on the screen, and I'm just going to put them to the one side to not take up all of Disco space. And there you go. So quick mention to Dan and also to Rick, who I met both separately, one outside Ari's bar and one going into the ground on Saturday. They said not to mention their names, but I'm going to embarrass them. I'm going to say, look, all right, lads, hope you're well. Good to meet you. Thank you for the very, very kind comments. Both watched the show and both said the show is very, very good. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Right. Let's hit the like button, guys. Remember, make sure you hit the like button. We want to get over 300 likes if we can. Start off the show, we want to talk about the main discussion, which is, unfortunately, the 3-1 loss at home to Portsmouth on Saturday. So, Stato, I'm going to start with you first. Saturday was bad, wasn't it, mate? I mean, give us some positive if there are any.
It wasn't more than 3. I think.
There you go.
To be fair, I think, and the positive being that I think we all knew that we wasn't going to win or go unbeaten for 16 games, which is what it would have taken going from after Coventry through to the end of the season. We've got it out of a bad performance out of the way early in the run-in. If that's another positive that we can take, but at the same time, and for any Portsmouth fans that listen to us or listen to it back or listen to Chris's post-match, they were brilliant. That they were really, really good. And sometimes you just have to hold your hand up and say that their manager outthought us off the pitch, and their players outthought us on the pitch. And unfortunately, it was just a bad day for us. We have the cushion. Okay, there'll be games tonight, and obviously we play the team in 7th. But we've built up a cushion. We've put ourselves in a position that one bad game doesn't derail the season. It doesn't mean panic stations. It doesn't mean you have to make 6-7 changes, which I'm sure we'll get onto when we talk about Birmingham. But it was just a bad day. Too many players having an off day, and their 11 pretty much had the game of their lives.
No, you're absolutely spot on, and outworked us as well to add to that, Stato. Cheers to that. Disco, coming to yourself next. Obviously, we are going to dissect players' performance after this, but what's your overall view and thoughts after that result on Saturday?
Yeah, look, real kick in the gut, wasn't it? Let's start, as you asked, Joe. We'll start with the positive. The positive was results went our way on the day, didn't they? Or over the weekend, right. Certainly. So we were very lucky from that point. Yeah, look, I was, and I tend to, I'm usually a reasonable judge. If I'm very confident, we normally do well. If I'm not confident, we normally don't do well. And after the Sheffield Wednesday performance and the result, I thought, well, we've got that out of our system. We're going to beat Portsmouth probably comfortably, but I knew it wouldn't be an easy game. But I thought we would, and I think my prediction was 3-1. Thought we'd win the game comfortably. Have to say, from start to finish, they were the better team, better work rate, more energy. Look, there's a awful phrase going around, and poor old Casper's been thrown under the bus a bit with they wanted it more. I'm not sure that's reality for the players, but it looked like that. I think they had a bit of luck on the day as well, as Angelo did in his analysis. It's one of them, you make your own luck, and everything fell for them on the day. But we were poor. And I have to say, I love the guy at the bits, but I thought Alex got it all wrong. And they're not necessarily the starting 11, the tactics, all that. The substitutions, for instance, to not bring Barry Bannon on until 80 minutes, I couldn't get my head around that. And to bring 4 on, which was just like chucking the Alamo, it was not good. So a real bad day at the office. Great opportunity to put that right tomorrow. It's even tougher tomorrow, but I've got some thoughts on that, which we'll talk about later. So, yeah, look, let's put it behind us and move on. But real kick in the gut, and didn't it spoil the weekend? Bloody hell.
Yeah, too right, Disco. Cheers for that. And Ben, come to yourself, mate. Just your overall thoughts on the result, on the performance.
Well, first of all, I wasn't exactly the favourite person on the stag do on Saturday, because I told everyone to put Millwall in their bets, and they all then went down. So I wasn't exactly, I wasn't exactly number one fan by everyone. But listen, just a couple of things on what the guy said. Jonesy's spot on. We can't win every game, even if we expect to. Even the likes of myself with 100 points, 100 goals, you can't go and beat everyone. I thought it was going to be a tough game, like Disco said, but I did think we were going to win. Another game where we dominated possession, had more possession than the opposition, and we didn't win. That stat now, it seems like that happens every game. And let's be probably honest and frank about it. We haven't been good for a few weeks. The Wrexham result probably could have gone the other way. Sheffield Wednesday, we were very, very poor, and we pulled it out the fire somehow. So it's not like we've been in scintillating form, is it? So you could say it has maybe been coming. And I have just seen George MSC in the chat saying it's probably not a bad thing. It probably gives the players a bit of a kick up the arse. So listen, hopefully it does that, and hopefully it gets the lads' heads on for tomorrow night. But look, very, very disappointing in the manner of which that we lost.
You're absolutely right. I think, there's no real way of putting a positive spin on there, really, is there? I think if we did, we'd be lying. Looking to dissect a little bit, we're going to start with yourself, Disco, first of all. One of the changes that Alex Neil made was dropping Max Crocombe and bringing in Anthony Patterson, which we kind of knew, half expected after Crocombe's mistake. What did you think? What did you make of his debut? And do you feel he had any chance with the 3 goals that he conceded?
Before I start that, Joe, one thing I would say, there's been since the game, and it's been again tonight, a lot of love for Portsmouth as a team and a fan base. You know, they come and did a job on us, most definitely. But mate of the show, Jeff Cook, said to me Saturday night, he said, well, let's see how good they are when they go to Wrexham tonight. And that's a really good point, actually, because I've got to be honest, they get tonked tonight, I'll be really pissed off, to be honest, in that, well, were they really that good, or were we really that bad? You know, have they shot their bolt? I mean, I hope they give Wrexham a good game. I bet they get turned over quite comfortably, and that'll make it even worse in a way. But anyway, look, I think the Pompey fans were quite appreciative of us being level-headed and saying, look, you were the better side and you deserved it. Crocombe and Patterson debate. 100% had no problem with Patterson starting. I'll reiterate, feel it's very tough on Max. He didn't have, there wasn't an absolute need to move him out and bring in Patterson. But for me, we are upgrading, and I'll reiterate that. However, I would say I think the first goal, Patterson takes a bit of blame. I know Angelo in his analysis didn't think so. I thought, decent save, the first one, but he's really parried it straight back out to the player, which for me as a goalkeeper is a cardinal sin. Great finish from the lad. But I put him, look, it's not his fault, the goal. Doherty takes the blame for the goal 100%, but I think he should have done better. The other 2, if he was a bit fresher, would he get closer to? Possibly, but they were both great strikes. The ball bloody fell perfectly for him, and they slotted him in. He made a couple of decent saves as well. I still maintain it's the right thing to do, and I think we will bear the fruits of that going forward. But I have to say, Max can rightly feel aggrieved at being dropped, and would have probably looked at that first goal and say, well, hang on, if that was me, I'd have had fans calling for my head. And he's right. I would have put that down to Max, and I'm putting it down to Patterson. But I'm just hoping he'll only get better as we go forward.
Nice one. Cheers for that, Disco. And then Ben, how about yourself? What's your thoughts on Patterson in goal for Crocombe? Right decision, and do you feel he's at fault for any of those goals at all?
I'm in 100% agreement with Disco. I thought the first one, 100%. He's parried it into the only place he can't parry it to, which is back to the winger, right? If it goes anywhere else, it's probably not a goal. It's not his fault, the goal, like Disco said, because it's 100% again Doherty just ball watching and not being switched on. But I text Jonesy Sunday morning and said, look, watching it back, didn't seem to be overly. Was he rusty? Was he bad? I think the first one definitely, again, Disco hit the nail on the head. If it was Max, he would have been absolutely pulled from pillar to post, wouldn't he? And we'd been slating him and saying, that's why we need the keeper, blah, 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 blah. So I'm hoping it is just rust and match sharpness that he's lacking. But then again, watching it back, he did make a couple of other decent saves. So, so hopefully he's just a bit match rusty, mate.
Yeah, it's half expected. I don't think he's played competitive football for a while, has he? I guess so. You're gonna see that, but hopefully he gets better tomorrow night. And then Stato, did your final thoughts on the goalkeeper change situation with Patterson? What's your thoughts on that? And what do you make of his performance?
I am going to go against both Ben and Steve. I must admit, I think it's a little bit harsh to be putting Patterson at blame for the first goal. I think if you look at Ben's gone. If you look at
he's upset with you now. Look, see.
If you look at they're
Just
the
upset
first
me
thing
then,
that
Jones. You had to leave. Sorry.
I know, that's what I just said. Yeah.
they're taught to push the ball away from goal. He does do that. I know that the Portsmouth player is on that side of the. I understand that he's that side of the goal, but the finish for him to score from that angle, if that's Ivanovic or Aziz or Coburn, we're all sitting here going, "What a fantastic finish!" As he scored from there, I don't put the blame on Patterson personally for that one. Doughty, people said Doughty and Taylor. Taylor for me didn't. I don't have any blame on him. Doughty doesn't move. He points and tells Taylor to go for it when he should be better placed to deal with it. The guy, by the way, their wingers absolutely rapid, made up the ground like no one's business. The other two, I think there's other players that should take a little bit of blame. I mean, the second goal, they had players queuing up for a shot on goal. No one seemed to stay with them. They just let them have space 12 yards away from goal. And the third one, Crammer, the poor header, drops into the box. The guy whacks it. You just, I think the problem was Patterson had to keep a clean sheet on Saturday for people to not say anything or not get on the back about making a change. The fact that we've lost the game, we've conceded 3 goals, it's turned to, he's calls upset, he's calls this, he's calls that. I don't think so. I think the mistakes were made by defenders, and they're nothing to do with being unsettled by the goalkeeper. Doughty switches off. Crammer uncharacteristically heads the ball into a dangerous area, and the second one, everyone just says, "Go on, lads, have a shot on goal." So I think Patterson maybe will be disappointed that he didn't maybe keep out the two, because one of the shots was quite close to him that he would have maybe fancied
almost
himself
hits
to
his hand in it, almost.
Yeah,
goes in,
as he's coming back. I think he'd be a little bit disappointed with that. But I don't I think that might be rustiness, but I don't put any of the blame on him. I think there's players in front of him that could, if they'd have done their jobs properly, we wouldn't have been in that position to be facing shots on goal.
I tell you what, there's a lot of love for Stato. I mean, we're even getting Chris Brown saying you're talking. John saying that. Guys, you got to stop this.
This show's going far too woke in it.
This show is going down the pan.
Can
you stop praising Stato for me, please?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's like the emoji, doesn't he?
Fair point. And it kills me. It pains me to say this, but I'm actually in agreement with Stato.
Yeah,
I am. So there you go. Chat with Stato. There you go. Right. Cheers for that, boys. I really appreciate it.
I don't. Just to clarify, and we're not backtracking. I don't think Ben and I are saying it was his fault for the goal. We're saying he should have done
don't
better.
try and jump on the bandwagon now. No.
He should have done better. And I guarantee, if you said to him, genuinely, how would you normally have liked to have said? I would have pushed it out or pushed it out into space. There's no way he would have been happy with that stop. No way as a top line.
I don't know. I think he pushed it to the side. He's put it close to the touchline. Okay, if he pushes it out for a corner, the whole situation changes. The guy scores from a ridiculous angle, an absolutely ridiculous angle. But
I reckon Joe would have slotted that in, to be fair.
I would have thought so. Right, guys, we've got to move forward because we're in the goalkeeper. We've got to go through defence, midfield, and attack, and we've got Craig Heskey join us in a little while as well. So we've got to move forward very, very rapido if we can. Right, so starting with yourself, Ben. Back four. I mean, they've had a lot of praise in recent weeks, haven't they? Everyone talked about how they could be the best back four in the division and blah, 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 blah. What went wrong, in your opinion? It seems like there was a lot of errors, especially on the in the fullback areas, weren't there? Which is very uncharacteristic of Tristan Crammer. And also Doughty as well.
Yeah, well, mate, you were there with me at Sheffield Wednesday. He was probably my number one target. And he needs to listen. He's been full of praise, rightly so. He's been incredible. I get it, and people are going to be jumping down my throat, but he's not a void of criticism. And that hasn't just been in the last game; it's been coming. He hasn't been at his brilliant best. I will say that. So it's not like, again, I'm not saying he hasn't been playing well, but he has not been at the form we'd expect or have expected from him in the last few weeks. It was really from the Charlton game for me. Yeah, he didn't have a great game in that one. He was doing silly things. He was doing silly things at Sheffield Wednesday, and he didn't really get punished for it. Maybe in different areas and more sort of forward areas. But yeah, Alfie again was poor. It's like we play team. We talk about it all the time, don't we? We play teams that we expect to beat, and we never do. And that's no disrespect to Pompey, but Pompey at home with the form that we've been on, you do expect to beat them. And it was like sort of Doughty and Crom also sort of go, we know we're better than these, so we don't have to be at 100%. And it's just had a little bit of that feel towards it, didn't it? Certainly with the fullbacks. So, yeah, again, we praise the back four all the time. They are not void of criticism. They battered us really, didn't they? The Pompey wingers, wide players, the geezer in the 10 as well. So, yeah, not a good day at the office for Crom or Alfie.
No. Cheers for that, Ben. Stato, coming to yourself, just discussing the back four and the kind of the mistakes, very uncharacteristic of Tristan Kramer, especially for the second, the third goal, and obviously Doughty. We touched on that earlier as well, didn't we?
I think Ben is spot on with there's a touch of the players expecting to win the game, and a little bit of the Millwall of old of just expecting to turn up and we're going to win.
Just turn up. Yeah.
It felt a little, and Casper, I know I've got a lot to say on Casper later on, but it felt that comment about that Portsmouth wanted it more tells you everything you needed to know about the mentality of the players, and bringing that back to the back four. It almost felt like we didn't need to play the game. We should have won. We're at home. We're in good form. We're third in the league. Everything was in our favour.
Bit too laid back.
A little bit. And then when they realised that we were in a game, it was too late to get themselves out of that kind of lull. I think Tristan Kramer is suffering a little bit with at the moment. I think his performances have dropped. I do think.
Do you agree with that point there, Stato?
Almost like he's not a right back, isn't it, fellas?
Yeah. Well, on that, and I think George has been trying to put this in. He's put the comment up so many times. I actually had I noted this down as a stat to use, that Kramer is one booking away from missing 2 games. He's got if you get 10 yellows, yeah. If you get 10 yellows before your 37th league fixture, you get a 2-game suspension. Obviously, we've played 33. He's on 9 bookings, and a small part of me is thinking if he does get that booking over the next couple of games, it might just do us a favour because it gives him a couple of weeks break from going forward. I would also say that we've gone away from the combination of Femi and Kramer. So many times the Femi has got a chance to put Kramer in down the right-hand side and he cuts back, he does a skill. We're not doing the things that made us successful. So it makes Kramer look a worse player because he's not as effective going forward and he's out of position a lot because we keep losing the ball.
Trouble is though, Stato, going by Tom's comment here, we rest Kramer. Who do we put in?
That again is the $1 million question. Leonard perhaps will get a go. I mean, look, do we think he's got 9 bookings all season? Do we think he's gonna go the next 3 games without getting a booking? Portsmouth found him out on Saturday that if you've got pace and you can go past him, he's in trouble. So all teams are going to do, they're going to go with pace and get a rapid winger to go 1-on-1 against him. Look, he's been excellent. He's been absolutely excellent. But as Ben just said, it's almost as if we've managed for 3/4 of a season with a centre back at right back, and team like Portsmouth have found him out, and he's starting to get tired. Doughty the other side. Sorry, Joe. Doughty the other. Yeah. Doughty the other side. For me, his attitude based. If he's a pumped up and focused, Watford excellent, Charlton excellent, not Coventry, the game after, whoever it was, excellent. Wrexham. When he's focused, he's very, very good. When he's not focused,
yeah, it's true.
He all over the place.
Really,
and that's exactly why we cost us for the first goal.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. And also, what is it with Kramer and his headers? He just can't seem to header a ball out. It's not the first time he's had a chance to clear the ball, and it's almost got like a pillow header. Like he headers it, and it just goes softly in the air in the danger area. He doesn't launch header like Taylor does or like Cooper does. But I'm be funny, if you see yourself as a centre back, you've got to do that. That's the basics. You've got to clear your lines. You've got to head that ball. You've got to launch that ball as far away as possible. But for some reason, Kramer can't header a ball out. Whether he's not generating enough power from his neck to force the ball out, I don't know what it is, but they've got to work on that in training because that's cost us. I'm sure we've had a goal conceded before through one of his headers not being cleared out far enough. I'm pretty sure, not sure it was against now. It might have been away from someone, but again, it's happened before. So,
Joe, just before you go to Disco as well, a few of the lads are saying in the comments, and rightly so, it's his first full season in senior football.
Who's that?
Kramer. And he's a centre back. He's never played at right back. So the exertions on his body is completely different to what he's ever experienced before. He's never played at this level before. He's playing out of position. So I'm not. Again, I just want to reiterate that I'm not digging him out because he's been amazing, but he's playing in a completely new position. The energy levels that you need to play at his level of performance, because he does get up and down unbelievably, is very high. So the drop off is expected. So listen, I hope he turns it around. So sorry to jump in, Disco, but it's just worthwhile pointing that out because a few of the people had said it in the chat.
Also, sorry, I meant to add on with Doherty just before we go to Steve. Someone asked me if he's ever played left wing for us. If he played left wing for us, he played a little bit of the game. No, sorry, Doherty. He played a little bit at left mid at Portsmouth away, coincidentally. But obviously, Neil got it completely wrong that day. But he's only ever been used as a left back or a wing back, which for me, I would like to see him further forward. That's another argument for perhaps when we come on to the team for later. But I just wanted to get that in there.
Good shout. Cheers. That's
someone asked. I can't remember who it was, but someone did ask.
Sure. No problem. And Disco, how about yourself, mate? With regards to that the back four situation, obviously predominantly mainly with Kramer and Doughty, we kind of trying to pick out at the moment for their faults and their mistakes.
Well, I think it was mentioned before, and we sort of dismissed it as it wouldn't have played a part. But much as I was a fan of bringing Patterson in, did that have a bit of an impact on the back four as well? That a new keeper in and a bit of this, a little bit unsettled, whereas they've been very settled with Max. Because it's really funny, or not funny, really interesting, isn't it? That both fullbacks were poor. And Jake didn't have one of his better games either. I thought Caleb held his own, but so the back four weren't themselves. So was there an element of the that I don't know. I'm not
Good
sure.
point.
But look, I'm not going to get too heavy on it. Look, Kramer is bloody fantastic. I think two things, and I think the boys have already nailed it. Little bit of a dip in form for him currently. It happens, doesn't it, during a season for players and for teams. I think he's had a little dip in form, and I think one of the guys mentioned it, and they're bang on. I think teams are sussing us out. Don't be stupid. They'll be watching their videos and saying, look at these two down the right-hand side. The way they link up is phenomenal, so we need to shut that down. And what we also need to realise is if he's bombing forward, there's going to be space in behind him. So if we can... transition is the new word, isn't it? If we can transition quickly down his side, we've got half a chance. I think it's those two things. And I think Stephen nailed it, to be fair, with Doherty. Look, I think we do judge the guy as if we know him really well, but you just have to look at his body language. It's a concentration thing, isn't it? He just wasn't the Doherty that he's been when he's played really well for us. Even early doors, that bloody cross he put in from the wing where it went out into the stand. It was fucking awful. And it was like, and the free kick, awful, as Angelo said. So look, two players way off their game on the day. And I'm sorry, I'm not putting that down to Portsmouth playing well. They were off their game and Portsmouth took advantage of it. But Kramer, you can say definitely both second and third goal. I mean, he got done by Ali, he got pushed off the ball by Ali, which should never happen. He should have been stronger. And then, as you say, that header was diabolical, to be honest, for a centre half, not a bloody normal right back, a centre half. Put it up, and you're right, Joe. He's got a bloody habit of doing it as well. He's done it a few times. A little bit scatty, he gets a little bit. But look, he's brilliant. I think, like Stephen says, maybe he does need a bit of a rest. I wouldn't be bold enough to take him out the team yet. I don't think we're ready for that. But maybe a rest will do him good. But look, he's bloody more good than he's bad. And interesting, Stephen, your point of him and Femi not linking up as well as they have done. You're right. How did we score? Who crossed it?
Yeah.
Kramer.
Kramer,
From a pass from Femi. No, from a pass from Femi. He shot it in and he crossed it. No. That was one of their moves that has worked so well for us, and they haven't been doing as much. So you're right, Stephen. They need to continue doing that because it bloody works.
Yeah. Good point. And also, Disco, I mean, defensively, I mean, Kramer's not the slowest. He can run. We've seen he is fairly quick. But I noticed other than, as Stato said, other than the Charlton game and the Watford game, where Doughty was on it, there's been a few occasions in recent games where defensively he's been found out. When a winger does a give and go, by that I mean they play the ball inside, they make a run, and the ball so many times Doughty's been caught out there. When to Zach Sturge's defense, he doesn't seem to get caught out in those areas. If someone does give a give and go, he tends to go with them, and he's very, very quick to intercept the pass, or the pass doesn't even go there because the player giving it back knows not to because Sturge has gone with him. So I think defensively, I think Sturge is actually a lot quicker, more mobile, more agile against those faster wingers. But then technically, Doughty is just a quality player on the ball in those areas. Isn't he? So what do you go with,
There's one move that you've just described perfectly in the first half where they played a 1-2 attacking the home end, and Doughty was lucky that the winger took a dodgy touch because Doughty could get back and make a tackle. And my dad, he'd probably be watching this. My dad it screams every week at Doughty. He says every week, and you've hit the nail on the head, Joe. In that 1-2, when they play a 1-2, Doughty, he's so flat-footed. We've got to be careful here because we're talking about one bad performance, and Doughty's been very good for a month. Kramer's been excellent for a season. It is a one-off, but you do notice things when you play badly, things get enhanced, and you can't let it become a habit. And we have had a little bit of a habit with Doughty and Kramer, but we've got away with it. We now haven't got away with it, so they need to fine tune some of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, and making Ben the Beaver right on his comment there as well. He said, "Look, Doughty gets caught out more often because he's never really played left back in his career. For Luke, he plays a wing back, which is true, and with a back three behind him. So I think the first time I saw him play left back was at home against Norwich, and he looked great. He set up the chance for Langstaff, didn't he, as well? And I thought he was brilliant. But defensively against fast wingers, I think Alex Neil's got to look at that. He's got to think, you know what? Do I gamble? Do I play Alfie Doughty and hope they can do something creatively, or do I put Zach Sturge there because he's probably the better fit to mark faster paced wingers? So that's something for Alex Neil to decide. But he's definitely been quite vulnerable, isn't he, in those sort of areas?
Let's be honest. Home to Portsmouth, based on that, Joe. Home to Portsmouth. Who would you have played?
I would have picked Sturge.
Oh, would you?
Yeah. Well, Portsmouth rely on fast wingers. They even got Murphy, not Jacob Murphy, is it Josh Murphy?
Yeah, he was on the bench.
On the other side, so he was on the bench, but they rely on the counter-attack with fast wingers. They've always had those sort of style players. And I think we struggled in the past against them away from home, Portsmouth. Because
you'd have expected us to be on the front foot, wouldn't you?
Most definitely. If we'd have won that 2-0 and Doughty had a good game, you'd say, "Oh yeah, great shout, great call from Alex Neil." But hindsight's a beautiful thing. Let's move forward, guys, because Craig's going to be joining us soon. I want to get through this bit before we stop. So, midfield, guys, I've got to finish. This might last a while, so we'll go through it very quickly. We've still got that midfield imbalance at the moment regarding Barry Bannon and the problem. And he only come on 18 minutes, but what was really noticeable was when he did come on, and I'm going to start with you, Sato, on this one, is he played a deep line midfield role. And everyone says probably the best he's played for us so far in that position. And it's the first time he's really kind of played in that position. Is there a place for Bannon in the team? And does that mean, Sato, there's going to be a casualty that we either lose Billy or Casper? Or is there a tweak in the formation that allows all three to play effectively? Now, I know you've got some stats for us later, so don't we want to go into that now or talk about it a little bit later on? It's your shout. But bear in mind, we've got Craig coming on in about 5 minutes or so.
I'll start and we can come back to it because I'll pose a question to you guys and then I'll answer it. But we've scored 47 goals in all competitions this season. How many of them have been from midfielders? Now, I'm not classing Aziz as a midfielder, Ballo, in my opinion, they're attackers, they're wingers. So people who are recognised midfielders, out of 47 goals, how many do you think we've scored from midfield?
Is that including Negley?
That is including Negley.
Does it include Kundal as well?
Yeah, so the play. So Derek, Billy, Casper Denor, Luongo, Smallbone, Negley, Bangura Williams, and Luke Cundle.
7.
I'm going to go
And
with
obviously Barry Bannon, but we all know that he's not scored for us. But so if you go with if you have a look at that,
I'm going 6.
5. In fact, I think
7.
it might be 4.
Ben's going
Ben?
7. What's the answer?
so
7.
the answer is 8. We scored 8
Right.
goals from midfielders, 17% of the goals. But for a team that doesn't score that many goals, for our midfield to be, I mean, for context, 11 goals have come from our defenders. So our defenders contribute more than what our midfielders do. Now, we know we've got players that come up from the back. My point being, a midfielder scored on Saturday in Casper De Nooy. He got himself in the box. It was a brilliant finish. Anyone would have seen on Twitter earlier that I was asking the question about would he make a good number 10? He scored some goals getting himself into the box. For me, to answer your question, Joe, Barry Bannon has to play in one of the positions that one of Casper De Nooy or Billy Mitchell are occupying at the moment. There is no point putting him in the 10. He's not the right player. He's not who we need there. We saw on Saturday, admittedly at 3-1 down and Portsmouth had sat off, but that's where Bannon is going to impact games. Sheffield Wednesday fans watched him for 10 years. Anyone in the Championship would tell you he's a central midfielder. He's not a number 10. Now, I got a little bit of criticism on Twitter by saying, why do we keep trying to shoehorn some of our midfielders into the number 10? We've tried everybody there. We've tried Negley. We've tried Bangura Williams. We've tried Cundle. We've tried Smallbone. It's just not quite working. Whereas I think there could be a place for Casper, because I'd want Billy to play next to Barry Bannon, if that makes sense. I think they're the two.
I think I agree with you on that one, Stato. And obviously we'll hear the others' thoughts on that as well. But you're right. I think he can do the press. He can do all the things that you need to do off the ball. Although on the ball, I think he's got that in him to kind of make those runs in the box. We see him score goals against Swansea in those positions. There was a goal where, was it against Gate, the cup game? Who was it? Is it Dagenham? When the ball goes over across, he hits it on the volley at the back post. So he's got that eye for a goal. He's got the technique to sort of do that. And I think he could do very, very well in that position. Now, normally he plays in a deep line role because he's very good on the pivot, as in you receive the ball. He's very good at passing. His range is very, very good. But if you've got a Barry Bannon in there doing the job equally as good, if not better, maybe you can afford to play Casper further forward and then keep Billy in the number 6 role as well. So that might be a way forward. Do you agree with that, Disco?
Just before, and this I'll ask Steve the question. Yeah. The other option is to go with a 2 up front, or Langstaff in the 10 and push him, and so the striker's not isolated. But Steve, and this, I was talking about this on Twitter and purposely to bring it into this conversation. Do you think after teams have watched Portsmouth basically bully our midfield and have a 3-man or the 2 and the 10 or whatever, have a 3-man midfield? Can we afford to go 2 up front if teams are going to come to us with that kind of strong midfield? Do we have to go with the 10 or 3 central midfielders? Or are Casper and Billy good enough to realise on Saturday they wasn't at their best and they can do it and we can go with 2 up front? What do you think?
Well, I think first and foremost, what you said before, I don't think it is Billy and Casper right now. We have got to drop Bannon deeper and put him as one of the 2. And I think, like you're saying, I would go with Bannon and Billy personally. And I think that would be a really good combination. You know my thoughts on a bloody 10. We don't play the style of football. I don't think we've got the right. Even Negley, everybody raving about Negley, fucking non-existent again on Saturday in my mind. And yeah, I think the player's got ability, but that 10 role is just like the poison chalice in our team, isn't it? So do you go? I'm sort of thinking before we come on tonight, I'd even say I'd go back and have Bannon as the attacking midfielder, if you like. But no, I think, look, sod it. He needs to play in his proper position.
He's got to play a deep position,
left-footed, right-footed as well. Gives you a balance. He's just got quality on the ball, which he uses. And then for me, whoever sits in there, I'd even go as far as to say, and I didn't think I would say this a while ago, I even wouldn't mind Langstaff in the 10.
Well, I was going to say, there's been
the deeper forward or 2 up front. I think you're right, Stephen. If we go 2 up front, we're possibly a little vulnerable in midfield. But the first line of defence is attack. Maybe put teams on the back foot rather than worry about being overrun. So, but certainly, look, my number one answer: Bannon should play centre mid alongside Billy or Casper, but I would actually say Billy would be the choice right now.
Disco, very good point. You mentioned Langstaff. There's probably an argument to say that he probably played the best in that 10 because he can make that front two work, can't he?
Someone clip that.
Well, no. In that 10 position, I wouldn't say I would start him, but I'm just saying if he plays a 10, he can act as a second striker. The only thing for me, I want to see Langstaff playing on the shoulder. I want him seen in that position, in that poacher's position, rather than playing the 10 and behind, or I'll see him on the other side of that. Ben, I'm just going to end off with you on this subject regarding the midfield three. Personally, I think we should tailor maybe the two to who we're playing against. So against Pompey at home, do we drop Billy or Casper? I would probably drop Billy in that game. Only reason because I think Billy's the best off the ball. I think Bannon's the best on the ball. And Casper gives you a bit of both. So when you're playing against a team where you're going to have more possession and you need to break them down, do you go with the players that are better on the ball? Now, we're playing against a good side away from home. Then you go for a Billy and maybe you sacrifice a Bannon in that game. Or do you go with what the guys are saying? Maybe play Bannon in a deep line run, play Casper in the 10. How would you work it if you were Alex Neil?
I would be playing Casper nowhere near a 10 position ever. That's
would
just
you
my
not?
opinion. No,
that's
chance.
Interesting.
Absolutely no chance.
He's only saying that because it was my opinion. That's
no, I'm not. I need to be very, very careful. Well, we'll take that one offline. Just not for me. Listen, Negley will be a bit. I know he's not doing it right now, and I agree with Disco. He's actually been better when he's been playing deeper, Negley, which is an interesting debate to have. So, is there an argument to have him in not in a 10, but like the 3/8 or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is now?
Yeah.
But no, I'm not having Casper not anywhere near a 10. The Bannon thing is just it drives me nuts, really, because he has never played in a 10. He hasn't played with Sheffield Wednesday for 10 years, like what Jonesy said. He's not his role. Why we think he can play there, I just don't understand. But for me, again, you said it there, Joe, when we are playing teams where we are going to have more possession, Disco and I spoke about it. He's the one who has the most progressive passes out of the two. We went through all the stats on the Bannon signing when we did the show. He is the more attacking of the three. We all know that anyway, but the stats back it up as well in terms of the progressive passes, all that sort of thing. So when we have more of the ball, yes, we need to get Bannon in the side somehow, because I'm sure that is what we've signed him for. So we've got to find a way of figuring it out. The Jonesy point of playing two up top as well, because, again, Mihailo, useless Saturday, non-existent, might as well played Jonesy or you up top, Joe, because it was a waste of time. He's just useless, isn't it, at the minute? Like, I don't get it. So, we've got to figure it out. That 10 or the 2, whatever you want to do, we need to find a way. But, Billy and Casper are too similar, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, good points from all of you guys. Look, we're gonna pause that debate for a second. We'll come back to it in a minute. But we have got our special guest revealed coming out soon. He's in the green room. So this guy is a former Millwall Lead Academy Player Care Officer. He's now the Academy Player Care Officer for Liverpool FC. It's the one and only, and I'll get to do this right, Craig Heskey. How you doing, Craig? You good?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Guys. Thank you, mate. I'm good. How's yourself, mate? How's life treating you in Liverpool at the moment?
Constantly raining. It's always raining.
Just when you think it can't be bad enough down south, it's worse up north, is it?
Oh, it's always worse up north. It's always raining up this side. But funny enough, the sun was out today. So I'll give it credit. But no, it's all been good.
Lovely today. It was lovely today in Manchester.
Yeah.
Very nice.
How you enjoying your new job then, Craig, up in Liverpool? It must be a huge level above, a big difference from being the Championship in Millwall, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big change. I think you're now working for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and it's a much bigger scale in that respect. And even when I moved from Leyton Orient to Millwall, I felt a jump. I thought, okay, it's getting serious. And you go here and you're like, whoa. You start to realise how big the club is just within its own city and how it impacts the rest of the country. And just like, oh my word. So yeah, it's definitely a big change, but a change I've been relishing. It's been really good so far. So yeah, no complaints at all.
Amazing. Now, guys, I'm sure you might have watched the video that Chris done with Craig a few months back, which is a really good video. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check it out on YouTube. All the guys on the panel here, we all got questions for you, Craig. So it's going to be I feel like a bit of a Q&A situation here. But
Okay,
before
cool.
we go to their questions, for the fans that don't know, could you just give us an explanation on what a player care actually involves day to day in your job, what you do for the academy youth players?
Yeah, I think it's more of the you're almost like the middle person. So you're not completely football, you're not completely players. You're working on both sides, which can be difficult at times. But it's mainly about trying to give the boys the best experience whilst they're at the club in the academy. They're grafting every single day, from under 8s all the way up to under 21s or whenever they move on. And you just want to try and give them the best experience whilst they're with you at the club. And you just want to ensure that, one, as a club, we're doing the right things in terms of support. So from a mental health and well-being perspective, with their life skills, personal development, it's about preparing them for life, really. And obviously, we all know they love their football. They live and breathe it. So you just want to be able to use the football that they're playing and allowing that to actually improve their personal development and life skills, really. So pretty much a mentor, pretty much someone that is on their side and not. Sometimes there's conflict with staff in terms of, are we doing the right thing by the person that we're working with and stuff like that. But yeah, it has its rewards, it has its lows. Obviously, boys at some point will leave, so some of it is difficult at times, especially when you get to know the person, their families, etc. But it's rewarding when you see them go on to do other things. It's amazing what academy football can do for a individual, whether it's play or go into being coaching or whether any other industry. Football gives you so much that we don't ever talk about.
Right. So, and guys, we've got tons of questions here, but I'm just curious to ask you. I mean, it must be so difficult because you're having to emotionally and mentally invest in all these players. You know, some are going through good moments, some are going through some challenging moments, some share secrets with you, some don't. You got to kind of unearth that, don't you, and find what's going on in their personal lives a little bit. How much is that percentage wise in regards to like the burden, not the burden, but the kind of discipline you got to have and the mental strength you got to have to kind of cope with these things, because it must be quite challenging. You know, it's hard to not bring that home with you when you know what goes on and what's going on in their struggles at the moment.
Yeah, of course. I think I remember I actually did a workshop with the boys when I was at Millwall, actually, and the person that was delivering it saying, who is the care officer for player care staff? So I don't have one.
Wow.
You know, because we obviously don't get looked after in that respect. That's nobody's fault. That's just the nature of the way things are at the minute. So yeah, you're right. You often take things home and you're questioning, did we do the right thing? How can we make the situation better? Because at the end of the day, the boys we put in, they're all in terms of being a professional footballer. That's why they're here. You know, that's what they're here to do. So yeah, you're often taking a lot of that stuff home, and it can be quite difficult. But I think with my background coming out of teaching and stuff, you get that there too. So I've been able to manage that as you go along. It's just now the difference is you're working with people that in a sport that you love. So you want it to work out, but as we all know with football, it's not fair. It isn't a fair game. So it's just one of those things we have to try and prepare them as best as we can for what the potential decisions that can happen that goes their way.
Absolutely. I'm going to pass you to the rest of the panel, but I can speak on behalf of a few of the boys at Millwall, the young players coming through. They all speak very, very highly of you, Craig. So you've definitely made a big impact on them, and they do respect and look up to you for what you've done for them. So hopefully the good work carries on. Guys, anyone else got some questions for Craig?
Can I go first?
Yeah,
Can I go first? Is that right? Craig, what did you make of Romain Esse and obviously the goal against us at Coventry? You know him on a personal level, so I'm going straight in with a tough one, mate, for you.
That's a big one.
What did you make of that, mate?
And to add to that question, you know Romain Esse, you know what he's like. I mean, as a person, how you describe him, and then of course just answer Ben's question as well.
Yeah, when I was actually playing football at the time when that game was happening, I checked the scores and I see that he scored, and the first thing I thought to myself was, what did he do? Did he celebrate? Is it Romain's knee slide, or did he not celebrate? And when I was reading the Twitter comments, I was like, oh no, what's he done? Then I actually saw the actual celebration. I was like, oh, that's not normal Romain. Romain would just do his knee slide or whatever he usually does. So it came across quite targeted. So I'm like, who's triggered him to make him do that? Because I don't think he's ever thought to himself that, yeah, once I score against Millwall, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I think something has to have been said. I've not had a discussion with him about it, but I said something had to have been said to him for him to, again, he was almost like he was pointing at someone.
Yeah,
So someone
pre-match
said
warm-up
something,
maybe, or
something.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know whether he would have celebrated if there was no noise, so to speak. But I think if he was to do it again, it would just be that normal knee slide as he does and whatever.
Yeah.
But that one was when I saw the celebration, I was like, oh, it's a bit strange. That it was very, yeah, that's the word, different. It was very, very different from a normal one. I feel like something must have been said because it's odd from his character. But again, he's quite an emotional kid. You can even see he's even obviously tweeted about it the next day. Obviously, people have spoken to him, and I could tell it's definitely from an emotional setting that made him do that. But obviously, what triggered him, only he knows. So.
Yeah. No, interesting point. And what was really, really funny, and is normally when things calm down, you think they'll, things will settle. But then even after the game, I think he was sort of mocking over to the fans and asking where because they're all leaving the ground, weren't they? He's asking where they're all going for. He was doing that to them, like why you're going for. So it sort of carried on a little bit, and he was laughing a little bit. But look, you know what? He's a young lad. He's a young professional footballer. I'm sure he'll look back at this in a few years' time. But you know what? I probably could have done that differently. But the truth is, there's about 95% of the fan base still love him. I think there's still a few hardcore fans that probably feel, oh no, he's gone past that line. But at the end of the day, all's fair in love and war, isn't it? They gave him banter, he gave a bit of banter back. That's it. It's football at the end of the day, isn't it, I suppose,
Yeah, of course.
Any more questions, guys?
Craig, I've got a few questions, but the main one, and I think most of our listeners would probably be interested in, is your thoughts around Race Bangura Williams, because he clearly, he's a talented footballer. Everybody speaks highly of him. He's, sky's the limit. He obviously, when SA left the club, he was the next one through the door. Do you obviously you've moved on from the club, but I'm assuming you watched the progress of some of the lads that you've kind of worked with before. What do you think it is with Race at the moment that isn't quite clicking? Is it simply finding a position for him? Is it perhaps inexperience? What do you think? I don't want to say the issue with Race, because I think he hasn't played enough football to have an issue. But what do you think it is with him that's not quite clicking at the moment?
I think there's two things with that. I think he does require patience. Reason being, I think you have to remember where he came from originally. So he's come out of non-league, he's come into the academy system, and then he's obviously learning the academy perspective. And all of a sudden, bang, he's in the first team. And I think the second part is he done really well. Like he's came in and he's, as Michael Richard would say, burst onto the scene. And that's pretty much what he did. That's pretty much what he done. Obviously, scored against Dagenham, and then the Cardiff game, he's not making people, and the assist for Casper De Noor, and you're thinking, oh my God. So now, obviously, he's built this picture. Not to say that's not him. Obviously, clearly, he's done it because he can do that. But I think there's always going to be a part where things dip. It's natural for any footballer, and I think he's still obviously got to adjust to going from non-league into academy football, then straight into championship, and just finding the level and finding where he's at. Like, obviously, at that point when he first came in, it was high. Everything was great. It was all going in his favour. And then, obviously, injury comes, and he's obviously then got to fight for his position again when he came back. And so there's a couple of things there that you have to kind of try and weigh up. And I think the other part that's now difficult is the team's doing really well, and there's so much competition. So it makes it even more difficult. So I think if the club was in a position, let's just go maybe a couple of seasons ago under Gary Rowett, where it's bottom half of the table, but we're close to playoffs. If we get a run in, he probably will get a lot more games in that sort of situation. But now, where the club are in a position where you're third, you can potentially get to automatics. It's now going to be you either perform now or that's it. It's the next person is going to come in and take their chance. So there's a couple of things there. There's a couple of variables. I don't think it's down to one solely, but there's so many things in there where it was always going to have some sort of effect at some point. And again, the team doing so well, it makes things difficult for any player, not necessarily just him.
And as a follow-up to that, and using Bangura Williams specifically, but obviously from your perspective, it will now be Liverpool players that you're working closely with. How much of an impact do you have on, for example, we have spoke at length on this show that perhaps a loan move for Rays would have been a better option to be playing maybe a little bit more regular football rather than in and out of the team. How much of your role would you be advising perhaps players on what might be the best move for them, or are you solely focused on where they are at that time? How much would you get involved in that?
Wouldn't get involved in it much. I've always done like maybe loans awareness, so boys know what it's like. That started from like my time in Millwall and obviously brought into Leyton Orient, so they have an understanding of what a loan can do for them. So it's when they do go out, it's not a, wait a minute, I'm from Millwall Football Club, you should treat me like royalty. It's no, you're there to play men's football. That's what you're there for. So I wouldn't get involved in, oh, you need to go out and learn. That's what should be happening, or nothing like that. But it's more of a, give them an awareness of what men's football's like, playing at 7:45, 3 o'clock, the difference that makes when fans are talking about you on Twitter and that sort of thing. And then they take it from there. So Jack Howland being an excellent example of that. Obviously, he would have been one of the first groups I think I'd done that with. So again, you would have an understanding of, right, if I do go on loan, this is what it's for, this is why I'm doing it, and not getting too caught up on the level that it's at. It's the men's football that you're there for more than anything, to put something on your CV to say you've done it. But yeah, in terms of direct, no, I wouldn't be very direct about it.
And then for a final question on that, if, for example, Race drops you a text and says that I've got an offer from, I don't know, Stevenage, and to go out on loan, what do you think? Do you, again, because you're being asked a direct question, I guess it's a little bit more opinion based, but is that something that you would encourage or discourage? How would you react in that situation? Would you get involved?
I would only angle it from, what does he think? First of all, before putting my own spin on it, is how do you see the loan? Do you see a benefit from it? Do you not? And then obviously open up the floor in terms of, this is the benefits you can get from doing it. If you're going to be playing every game and you're going to be front loaded, then why not, so to speak? So it wouldn't be a thing of, yeah, go ahead, you must do it. It's what do you think? And then try and show them there's positives in doing it, rather than, oh no, stay here and whatever. Again, it's not something I necessarily get involved in that respect, but I would give a conversation, whereas this is my opinion, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Cool.
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
Craig, thanks for coming on, mate. I mean, already brilliant information. You have a great way about you as well. You've got that sort of voice and that presence that just draws people in.
Very soothing, isn't it? Very soothing voice.
I understand.
Wish you could come help me with marriage guidance. You do anything like that?
No.
Dealing with teenagers at home that are pain in the arse.
Don't get involved in the love game, Craig.
Teenagers, maybe I can help with that.
Yeah,
but
teenage
marriage,
kids. Yeah, okay. I'll give you a call off this then.
Craig, I've got a couple of questions. First one, a little bit about you, and then the other one about another player, actually. You in general, so obviously going to Liverpool from Millwall, and as you say, it's pretty much like an institution, isn't it, Liverpool, you know, in British or English football, most definitely. I just wonder, in terms of the job you do or the role you've got, are you now part of a bigger team because it's a bigger club, or is it still exactly the same role with the exact same resources, etc.?
No, the bigger team, more resources. I guess it comes with the territory, doesn't it, really? And I suppose that also comes with demand in terms of obviously the status of the club. So yeah, it comes with that for sure.
So you designated a certain group of players rather than more of an
overarching. Yeah. So I've got particular groups that I work with, so I can kind of really deep dive into that and try and support from that end, which obviously helps. Obviously, again, switching it back to Millwall, my time, I looked after everybody.
Yeah.
But obviously, some got a better version of me than others.
Yes.
Based on, I guess, demand.
Why is that though? Sorry, go on.
In terms of,
why would some get a better version of you than others? Would you say?
I guess you have to almost prioritize. So what kids are going to need you the most now? So if you're starting from the top of your academy, it's going to be 21s because they're full time. Same with the 18s. 18s probably more so because they're apprentices. So there's so much they have to learn, and obviously, them going to be professional footballers is quite slim. They're not a pro yet, so there's a lot to learn there. So it's pretty much I ended up focusing a lot on the age groups that had releases on them, because it's like, okay, they're going to probably need my support if they let go. So you end up trying to focus there. But I think with the little ones, I'd always say they don't really need to see me. They're there to play football. As long as they're playing, they have no care in the world about who I am, really, in that respect.
Do you feel the serious matter is as they get a little bit older and get to that kind of almost like a fork at the end of the road, which way is your career going to go? Do you go this way or that way? And they kind of really need you then emotionally, don't they, I guess? To kind of deal with that.
Definitely. And I think, especially when they're young, we're talking about 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, football's what they're here for. They don't need to hear from me, really.
True. Good
Obviously,
point,
if there's
yeah.
need for me to be there, then of course. But
Yeah.
at that point, you just wanted to enjoy football. You don't want to put any sort of pressure on it. And so many different people are involved trying to maybe have conversations or put anything in there. Just let them play, let them be free. But obviously, as they get older, it's going to get more serious. They go into secondary school, and obviously they become the star of the school playgrounds and potential scholarships. That's when okay, it's getting a bit serious. There's potential money involved in it now in terms of what they could earn and being pros. So you're always trying to support that. So yeah, obviously again, at my time at Mill, it always ended up being more of the asset side. Not to say the little ones didn't see me, but they didn't see me as much. It's difficult to spread yourself across everyone.
makes
Really,
sense.
it's impossible.
Absolutely, and there's more
Really
resource
does.
at Liverpool. And on the player front, have you had much involvement with Callum Scanlon, who we had on loan last year?
No, not really. Yeah, I didn't have much involvement when he was at Mill. No, I've seen him a few times.
I'm
but
sure
no.
he's gone out on loan again now, hasn't he?
Cardiff,
Yes,
I think so. Yeah, I think he has. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked a real talent, to be honest.
He looked really good, wasn't
he? Yeah, real shame he got injured when he did and took him out for the season. But
And again, that goal against Cardiff was unbelievable.
Yeah,
what a goal that was.
Yeah, got a message here from Alex MFC, and says, did Liverpool have reservation about signing another Heskey? And I think the joke is probably on Alex here. Well, I think Heskey is actually related to you, isn't he? Is that right, Emil Heskey?
Yes, yeah. So we're cousins.
There you go, Alex MFC. Cheers for. How is Emil doing, by the way? How is he?
He's good. No, he's good. Obviously, he's got his two boys in the system. One of them obviously played against me all last week.
Yeah, quality player as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And again, it's good for him to be out on loan and playing. Obviously, despite Sheffield Wednesday and their concerns in a minute, but it's good for him to get those minutes and that exposure. It's brilliant for him. So yeah, his two boys are doing really, really well. So there's obviously just trying to make their mark in the game like everyone else is. So fingers crossed they can obviously go the whole way.
Good. Oh, fantastic.
Wrexham 1-0, by the way, fellas. Just
1 minute, Apollo.
One question for you that might be a bit harder to answer. Obviously, you've only just started at Liverpool, but has there been a player that you've looked at and gone, yeah, he's good, he's going to go far, and that's absolutely rocketed? Who's the best player that you've come across in Europe? Not necessarily Millwall. It might have been a player from Orient that's gone on to bigger and better things.
Probably Hector Cipriano at Leyton Orient, who's now at Watford. Especially at the time that he broke through at Leyton Orient, he made me think that football is black and white. So if you do everything properly, you're going to be a professional footballer. It's all going to work out, because that's the way he was. Completely switched on with everything. So not necessarily just on the football pitch and sports science and everything else, but even off the field with his education. So he went on international duty with Cyprus, and he took his laptop with him to do his education work. I'm like, wow, you want to do that? Because most kids won't do that, but he did. But he's obviously gone from being at a club that was in the National League, played in League Two of Leyton Orient. Obviously now he's in the Championship. So I think will be the one person, because he really stood out. But I've also learned as time has gone on, it's not that linear. Some of it is luck, and being in the right place at the right time. Manager gives you an opportunity. Again, Ray Sprunger or Williams, he comes on the scene. You're like, wow, what is going on? Where's he been? And he's there the whole time, really. So he's the only one I could say was quite linear for me. But everywhere else, I'm a lot more open-minded now to say, okay, it looks good now. Let's give it a year or two and see what happens, so to speak. Because again, things change, dynamics changes, people grow, or some players get better, some don't. And so, I try not to get caught up in the here and now. It's what could potentially happen in a couple of years.
Unbelievable.
Craig, going back to your teaching days, what would you say was the biggest difference between, say, like really good school players and then kids that are in academies? Do you think it is to a level of just their coaching all the time? Is it anything they do off the field that's differently? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's a bit of everything.
Ability,
exposure. I think exposure is the biggest one. I think when you look at academy players, they're going to get the best coaching that club has available. They get it 3 times a week, and they're going to be around players in and around their level. So they're constantly sparring with people on their level. Whereas when you're the best in your school and maybe not in an academy, it's a mixed bag. You ain't going to train 3 times a week with the same players every single time, really pushing you on and everything else. So it becomes a little bit difficult. So you find that the boys that are young that can get into men's first teams earlier are the ones that all of a sudden can get into academy teams, because they're now exposed to a level where they're forced to learn, forced to spar every single day that they're with those players in order to then improve. Whereas, when you're in a school, it could be really difficult. So I used to look back at myself. I was like, when I was young, I was training once a week, a game on a Sunday. What chance did I really have? off that.
True.
There's nothing really, is there? In fact, you put it into perspective, it's probably 2-hour training on a Saturday morning, 70-minute game on the weekend. That's it. That's all the football I've had, really. Obviously, including your stuff in the playground, but it's not much in comparison to what academy kids get. They get exposed to so much and so many different levels of teams, from your cities to Crews to Charltons to Mill. They get exposed to everybody. So it's
I'm guessing also, Craig, also off the pitch as well, classroom stuff, you know, talk about tactics, formations.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're getting all of that. There's a lot that you're exposed to. I find what you find with academy players, they're so much more knowledgeable in football. It's because it's all they get. So as you just said, the analysis and stuff, they'll talk to you in language. You're like, how the hell do you even know that? But they know it.
We've got a request here from a Millwall fan. So it's John FC, who's a fan of the show. He said, "Hi, Craig. My daughter said, are you single? She's a teacher too. Are you single?"
I am, yeah. But I am about 200 miles away, so I can't do nothing with that.
There you go.
There's been a lot of love on this show tonight already.
There's a lot of love.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So John MFC, if your daughter's willing to travel 200 miles up to Liverpool, Craig is available. Last question from me, Craig. I know obviously we're going to keep you too long, but what I'm interested in is how and why do some lads break through the academy through Millwall and others don't, for example. So you've got likes of Bangura Williams, we mentioned there, Race, we've got Alfie Massey, Sheldon Kendall, Lamptey, Kamal Grant. There's a number of good players that have been exposed to the first team and have made it, and some have gone on to sort of go on loan, whatever. But what I want to know is, beyond talent, what separates the ones who make it from the ones that don't, in your opinion?
I would probably say that, again, there's a lot of variables, but I think how you operate around the building is important. Yeah. Because again, you're working with adults, and sometimes because they're in an adult environment, you need to be, not saying Jack was like that because he was nothing like that, but just as an example. So how you operate around the building is important, because the manager and staff have to trust you. I think that's a big thing. It's, can I have you around the building? Are you going to cause a nuisance? Do we have to worry about what you're doing? And do we have to manage your behavior? I think is obviously a key thing. I think looking after your body is important, doing all the right things, which a lot of them tend to do, to be fair.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Talent obviously is one thing, but I think, that hard work and graft and not allowing setbacks to be it's over. That's not finished. You're not, you're still young. There's so much you can learn. So there's loads of variables when it comes to that.
Excellent point. Excellent. And by the way, John just wanted to let you know that apparently she's happy to relocate. So, there's no way getting out of it, Craig. You're stuck now. Exactly. Brilliant stuff. But look, honestly, we really do appreciate you coming on, Craig. And
no worries. Thanks for having me again.
On again, honestly, because there's so much more we want to talk to you about. And
there's one question from Bex there, Joe, if it's possible. Just there, Bex has put one on at the end there.
Oh, so quick. So is this one here?
Bex is part of the show.
What is your highlight in your career so far? Or do you have any advice for people wanting to get into your career? That's good. Two questions there, really.
Two questions. Highlight of my career, I think obviously being at Liverpool has to be it. But I think what I've also enjoyed is just seeing players break through. I think, again, when you see them behind the scenes and they're all doing the work, and then you see them on Sky Sports and they're playing, for me, I love all of that. So as you may have seen sometimes on X and on Instagram, I'm always promoting their football. Whether I worked in Millwall or Leyton Orient, I'm so big on that because they work so hard for that journey. So for me, when I see it happen, I'm like, it's just amazing for me to see. It's brilliant. It's what they strive for. So I think my highlight would be definitely that sort of stuff.
It's the proud moment, isn't it? Because like say you work when they're younger, and I can imagine that. That's really nice.
And then they go from just being one human being to maybe a potential superstar or someone of interest, and there's a change there for them as a human. So I think that for me is amazing to see, especially when you see it on the big TV. You're like, wow, I worked with that person. Look what they're doing. And so for me, I think that's probably the big highlight, as well as obviously again being at one of the giants of world football. Getting into my career there's no clear-cut way. I think me being a teacher helped because it is about people. It's a relationship role. I always say to people that my affiliation with Millwall is very contagious. Like, I've almost become a fan. Like, I'm so interested in what's happening, and I'm watching back the games, and obviously, especially when you're working with players, they are people. You want to see how they're getting on. So I think getting into my role, it's definitely got to be around. You've got to be very heavily in your safeguarding. You've got to understand about safeguarding people and how what's best for them in their situation and their needs. So understanding their needs is very, very important. But I think getting in and around grassroots, I think is a perfect start because there's so much that can happen in grassroots to help support people, which will obviously give you the skills that you need to potentially allow you to get into the elite game. It's not an easy thing to get into. It's a niche market. I'm mentoring a few people at the minute that want to get in. It's like, well, there's only 92 clubs. Not everyone has 5 player care officers or 2. Some only have 1. Most of them only have 1. So you're fighting against so much people. So when I looked at my own situation, I'm like, okay, there's me. There's going to be people from other clubs that want to go to Liverpool. So I'm up against so many different people. So it's understanding that this thing isn't just going to be a straightforward thing and just get in and it's done. It's going to be something that you take time to build a portfolio just by having experience with working with people to make it happen.
Excellent. I really do appreciate it. And finally, we can't let you leave without just asking the question. Yeah, what do you make of Millwall's performances this season? And do you feel we've got a chance of sort of going up for what you've seen of us this season?
100%. Again, I'm watching it from afar and I'm like, oh my God, I can imagine how much the training ground could be buzzing with the way things are actually really going at the minute. 3rd in the league and we're in February and you're like, wow. Whereas again, when we look at in previous years, it's always been probably top of the bottom half, could get into playoffs again on a 3-game run, we could be in it. And now we're like, well, we're almost looking at an expectation. We've got to be in the playoffs minimum now. Just
exactly.
What will the atmosphere be like around the training ground at the minute, Craig? Will it filter through the whole staff? Will everyone be buzzing? What will it be like?
It's hard for me to say because I've not been in that situation. I guess the club hasn't been in that situation whilst I was there. It's hard for me to say. But I can only imagine that it would be like everyone's on task, everyone's in it. They know what the focus is, and it's just amazing to see. And can the club do it? Yeah, definitely. Which is why I got to stay tuned. I need to see the whole thing. It's brilliant to see where we've gone from.
You can come back on for the promotion episode, mate. That's fine.
100%. I'm there. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. We'll definitely get you back in after the season's over in the summer. It'd be good to have you on, Craig. Listen, Craig, we're gonna love you and leave you. Wish you all the best.
Appreciate the time, guys.
I mean, you're there on merit, mate. You're there on merit because you're doing a great job here, and hopefully things will continue to go really well for you. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you very soon. Yeah, all the best, Craig.
Thank you, guys. All the best. See you guys soon. Take care.
All the best, mate.
Bye. How good is that, guys? So good to see
nice
you.
Nice guy.
Lovely guy. We'll definitely get Craig back on again. So look, guys, if you haven't seen the YouTube video where Chris interviews Craig, make sure you watch it back. It's on YouTube, so it'd be good for you to watch it. Right, guys, where are we up to the last segment? I think we're up to Ben, weren't we, from memory?
We've done
I'm pretty sure we covered midfield. So let's start now with you, Disco, and we want to talk about the wide areas. We wanted to speak about, Tommy Watson's start at home against Portsmouth, but also Femi Aziz. There's a few question marks about Aziz's performance recently, and is he off the ball? Is he lacking confidence at the moment? What did you make of our attacking wide areas? Is the question I want to ask you, really, and of course Nedley as well, performing in the 10.
First and foremost, Watson, I thought it was good to see him get a start. I was excited to see him. And I think there were flashes of the ability that he's got. He does look a bit of a Rolls Royce type player and, has a glide, doesn't he, across the pitch, etc. But let's be honest, wasn't really in it enough to affect the game. So that was disappointing. And, there wasn't a chemistry with him and Doherty, unfortunately. So that didn't materialise how you'd probably have wanted it to. He did put a great left foot crossing, didn't he? Early door, I think Ogilvy got in front of the Serb and put it out for a corner where he put a first time crossing. So he's definitely got ability and a couple of cut insides and what have you. Aziz, I'm not in the camp of this that he's just off the ball right now. Look, he's not quite playing to the level he was. Is he being a bit greedy? Possibly at times. I don't think him and Kramer, as we said before, are linking up quite as well as they were. And I don't understand because, like I said before, when they did do it, was the one, goal we scored and probably our best chance of the game. So there's been several times that Kramer has gone beyond him and he's decided to cut back inside rather than lay him in. And look, you can't do it all the time. I know you've got to mix it up, but there does seem some obvious opportunities for that. Look, crossing, I've heard people saying, "Oh, his crossing was dog shit." Look, I don't think it was. It was one of those days where somebody gets on the end of it. It's a great cross. You know, there was one in the first half that went across for a head, and it missed. It just went above Ivanovic, I think.
And you know what? I remember that. And I remember thinking to myself, if that was Coburn, he would have connected with that.
Correct.
I remember thinking that. It was a great cross, but it was just over his head a little bit. He just didn't quite leap up high enough, did he?
And look, a foot, 2 foot lower. It's a perfect cross and it's a great goal. Look, and let's be honest, I don't. You might think differently. I think even the big stars, they're crossing into an area, aren't they? They'll practice in training, right? This height, this speed, this angle. Into that area. It's not necessarily, there's times when they pick a player out. Of course there is, but not every time. So I think Femi's still doing that and he's mixing it up right and left. And look, it didn't quite work for him. There was the deflected shot in the first half. The keeper made a good save. Could have gone in. So I don't think Femi's too far off it. He's not quite at the level he was, but I think that's more about him and Kramer linking up. I did hear today he had a bit of a strop when he came off Femi. He looked like he was on the bench having a strop that he'd been taken off. And some people saying like, "Oh, Bertie, big balls, don't need all that." I don't mind that, to be honest, as long as he's not being a complete arse and he doesn't seem that type of player. If he's angry with himself and having to come off, I'm all over that.
Not performing
he's got that. He's got that, and he cares, and he wants to be involved. So he wanted to be there because he thought we've got a chance of getting back in the game, So I'm that's where I am with those. Watson, not really seen enough yet, but some decent signs. What I was a bit disappointed with going with Watson as well. Not if you watch the highlight, he literally came off to the second 60 minutes. So for me, that was a pre-planned.
That was pre-planned
substitution, which I get. Managing minutes, he's just back in. I get all that, but where's our proactive substitutions when we're down in a game and clearly not at it? So all we did was put a tactical, pre-planned sub at 60 minutes. I was really disappointed with Alex with that. And so that's where I am with the two wingers, Joe.
Yeah,
we're probably missing Idemo. Let's be honest. Over to you, Ben.
Just in time, Ben. Over to you. Are we missing Idemo?
Hole in the head. So possibly a bit of and every week he's going to have a little bit of a bad run of form. My only mate has the Ipswich thing rattled him a little. Again, we're speculating with that, right? And I know, but. Potentially. Again, just complete speculation there. But as I say, he can't be Superman every week. Watson, again, totally agree with Disco. That was 100% a premeditated substitution because it was bang on 60 minutes. There is going to be an element of managing his minutes. And again, hopefully he can just be fitter sooner. There is still that question mark on, I suppose, depth on that sort of left-hand side, isn't there? Because we clearly aren't going to be playing mate whose name I've even completely forgot now. Ballo. Sorry, I completely forgot his name. What's going on there now? So he's we're more like.
It makes you wonder. I was even thinking the other night, like the fact he comes on right at the very end almost and doesn't really perform or make any difference to the game. You do question: is he even going to be signed in the summer? I mean, apparently
no chance.
There's agreement if we want to sign him, but I'm wondering: do you put that paper back in the drawer again? And look at other options, maybe. There's
no way we sign him in the summer. No way. Not with how the second half of the season has gone.
It's a shame, though, isn't it? He had a great start, didn't he? To his.
Did he? He did, mate. And I really thought, we're onto something here. But there's been a pretty steady decline, isn't there, in his performances and how he's played. And you never know. Maybe he was told early on we weren't going to sign him again. Did that have any effect? We're speculating. We don't know. But I think there's one thing I can guarantee in the summer, mate, is that we will not be spending the rumoured £4 million or £5 million, whatever it was, on Ballo.
Yeah, good point. And again, competition is healthy. Competition is good. Can Tommy Watson put performances in there to really push Ballo out, or does it give Ballo the kick up the arse to regain that form against Stato and take on that left hand side. What did you make of the wingers' performance on Saturday? Before you answer that question,
I thought Watson looked okay. I think Disco said the Rolls Royce sort of a glider type player. I thought he did okay in a team that didn't really play well. He looked all right, promising. He clearly hasn't played that much football, so we'll hopefully see the best out of him. He's already contributed to a goal already, obviously at Sheffield Wednesday, so hopefully that works. Before I go on to Femi, I think with Ballo, I think you'll see you're going to have to see much more of Ballo than you might think, because outside of Watson and Aziz, he's the only winger left. Howland's gone out on loan, and Maku, I know, but he's gone. Negley, in my opinion,
he's not really a winger, is he?
He's not a winger. You got Kundle again. I don't want Luke Kundle playing wide in this team. Doughty could be pushed further forward, but it seems set that his position under Neil is going to be more defensive rather than a winger. So I think you'll see a little bit more of Ballo. I'd like to think it's a bit of a rocket for him to say, look, we've signed someone that's directly taking your place at the moment. So show me something. Get involved in a game.
Exactly.
So I think that could work. Or it goes the other way. He thinks, well, I'm on loan anyway. There isn't an obligation to buy. I'm going to go back to Austria. It could work either way. Who knows?
Yeah.
With Aziz, I think that he knows he's going to be a Premier League footballer next season, regardless of what happens for the rest of the season. And look, Femi has been absolutely amazing. He might not get in team of the year for the championship, but he'll be certainly close and he'll be in the conversation. He's been absolutely superb, and you take nothing away from him. However, he does come across at the minute that he wants to be at the forefront of everything that we do going forward. He doesn't want to lay it off to Crammer to put the ball over. He wants to be the one to put the ball in the box. Now, his delivery, his delivery, pretty good. He can use both feet. He's an excellent player at this level, but he's gone away, like I said earlier when we were talking about Crammer, he's gone away from the things that made him look good, the simple things, the give and goes, the movement, the playing in Crammer. And I think that I don't think Ipswich is a distraction necessarily as such. Bear in mind, he's got 2 assists. He got the assist for Coburn's goal at Wrexham. He put the ball over for the own goal at Wrexham. He got the assist for Langstaff at Sheffield Wednesday. So he's not scored, but he's still contributing. But I just think you just wanted someone to say to him, look, do the things that you were doing 3 months ago that was getting you all of the recognition and all of the superstar talk and the potential moves, because that's what people want to see. That's what makes you who you are. I still believe, and I he's the only player now in our team. He's the only one that when he gets on the ball, there is excitement. People get excited when he's on the ball because they think he's going to create something, but he just needs to be a little bit, I don't want to say less greedy. He just needs to be a little bit more back to basics. Show us what was making you so good.
Bit more balanced.
That's what I want to see tomorrow from Aziz. And don't get me wrong. If in the first half, the deflected shot on cross, he could have had a goal and assist. And we could have been flying, and it's a completely different story. But I just and there's a comment there that's just come in that we lean on Aziz at the moment when we do really lean on him. We need Tommy Watson or Ballo on the other side, or if they put Doughty further forward, they have to be contributing, because we cannot be reliant on one player from now until the end of the season, because teams will double up on. They already have. That teams are putting 2 players on Aziz, and they're saying, well, go on and give it to one of the other players and let them do something. And we're still trying to find him. It's a very much a balancing act. It's a bit like the Cooper Taylor situation. Everyone marks Jake Cooper, and Caleb Taylor then gets himself free at the back post. Well, 2 are on Femi Aziz. Someone should be free elsewhere. Yeah. And we need to utilise that a little bit better.
Correct.
Good point. Excellent point. Cheers. That
just on the gliding, I meant the way that he runs, Stephen. Not in play,
he
like he's got a bit of elegance about it and quality. Yeah.
I don't want to say this and get absolutely slaughtered and click, but a little bit how Jack Grealish plays football. He's not a sprinter. He's just he tries to glide past people. He carries the ball forward. That type of player. I'm not comparing the two. But that little bit of I'm gonna go past you, but I'm gonna do it in my way, and I'm gonna, do you know what I mean? And silky touches and things like that. That's how I see it and interpret that.
Yeah.
Nice one. Moving forward, I guess we touched on Neckley, didn't we, loosely? So we could probably skip that one now. But the striker situation, Ben. Ivanovic, lone striker, he does seem to struggle to lead the lineup, but there's no denying he's an excellent finisher and he's got all the technical attributes you're looking for from a striker. However, leading the line in the Championship, I don't know about you, I do feel that Coburn is that little bit more aggressive. He battles more. You know, I think if you're a defender, you would much rather play against an Ivanovic, and I think you would hate to play against a Coburn, wouldn't you? And I think on Saturday, that was quite telling, wasn't it? Do you not think?
Yeah, I agree, mate. The thing with Ivanovic is we seem to have the same things that we talk about week in, week out. When he doesn't score, we sit here and say exactly the same thing. Needs to look more interested, needs to be more aggressive, needs to get into the box more or be in between the posts more, needs to do more in the 6 yard. We say the same things all the time, mate.
Very good point, yeah.
Again, is he the right person to be leading the line? Can he do it on his own? It's always the same things. There was a little bit of sort of stick that Coburn got at Sheffield Wednesday with. They weren't even like half chances; they were quarter chances, if you like, where he was very close to the keeper. But they were aggressive, the runs, and like they were where you want your centre forward to be. Ivanovic wouldn't have been in those positions. He wouldn't have even been near the ball when the ball went into those areas. So. We miss Coburn, we really do. And when we're playing one up top, which I know he has done for long parts of this season, Mihailo, it's just such a difference. And
I agree.
Yeah, if we get into a deep playoff run, for me it has to be Coburn. If we're going to be playing one up top, or like we've already kind of discussed earlier, do we start to look at a formation change, which I just can't see now at this stage of the season. So, in answer to your question, mate, the answer to your question is we raise the same questions week in, week out with Mihailo, and I think that says everything.
Cheers, Ben. And Estato, how about yourself, mate? Just regarding the striker situation, Ivanovic performance versus Coburn. We're led to believe that Coburn was ill, wasn't he, on Saturday? So luckily he's not injured or anything like that. So we're hoping he could be back in contention for a starting place tomorrow. But what do you make of our striker situation at the moment? And is there a kick in the foot where we should have probably signed the striker in the window, because we're obviously very, very weak in that area, aren't we?
I'm going to liken Ivanovic to Rays Bangura Williams, and similar to what Craig was talking about when he was on the show, that the two of them seemed to click all of a sudden and everything was going really, really well last season. Ivanovic was the best thing since sliced bread. He scored loads of goals. Everyone wanted him over the transfer window. There was moves to Italy. Everyone went through the roof. We all got excited. Let's be honest. And the listeners, everyone did. We thought we had a genuine goal scorer on our hands, and he was going to be a real big threat. Scored a bucket load of goals in pre-season. Yeah. However, whereas Rays Bangura Williams has got 6-7 players that he's competing with to get into the team, Mihailo Ivanovic has got someone who was playing non-league football a couple of seasons ago and a bloke who can't stay fit for more than 2 games, it seems. Now, okay, he was ill. He should be back tomorrow, and I think Coburn will start. But Ivanovic has to play. You can't play Macaulay Langstaff as a lone striker. I know, there's lots of talk on him, but you just can't do that at this level. Coburn isn't fit enough. The option to sign someone, I do think perhaps they've let Alex Neil down there. I think we did need to go and sign another striker, but we didn't. And Ivanovic, we all know, as Ben said, it's a bit like when we keep talking about, people keep talking about Bannon. Ivanovic, it's the same things. He cannot play up front on his own. He's not physical enough. He doesn't put himself about a bit. We've said this for months. You think back to just before he scored his goal at QPR, everyone was saying, what's happened to him? What's happened to him? Well, nothing really has changed. Realistically, okay, he had Femi in the form of his life putting balls on a plate for him to score some goals, but it's just frustrating that we didn't sign another striker. There's clearly an ability in there, but he needs some help. He needs a partner. And if we're not going to give him a partner, then as soon as Coburn is fit, and any game that Josh Coburn is fit, I think he's got to play. He just has to play.
You know, I completely agree with you. People will start spreading rumours soon, saying that, you know, why does Joe Zamp always agree with Stato? I don't normally agree with everything you say, but you don't always agree with what I say. So it's a rarity. But no,
We've turned the corner.
We've turned the corner. We've turned a new leaf, haven't we? Disco, how about yourself, mate? Regarding the striker situation, what do you make of all of it? It just seems like something's not quite clicking. I mean, Ben de Beaver mentions here, you know, quite simply, where is it? Ivanovic. He's not a target man, Ivanovic. He's not the type to bully defenders. I think to play that lone striker role, if you're going to do that, Alex Neil, you need someone who's going to fight and be aggressive and be a pain in the arse for defenders and not give them a second rest. But he's not quite that player, is he?
No, he isn't, and it's proven he's not. I do think he should have developed a little bit of that by now. And whilst he might not be a perfect in that role, that's our system. That's the role we need him to play. And look, I think it's a bit twofold. I don't think he gets particularly good service at all.
Yeah, good point.
But he doesn't get himself into games enough either, come and show for it enough, and even just holding the ball up. I mean, come on, you can argue that is that a target man? Well, yeah, but just holding the ball up and look, Alex said it in the post-match, didn't he? The ball doesn't stick up the top enough for us.
You mentioned
Keep
that,
the bloody ball up there, you know. So, and I've said many times on here, he always wants to play one-touch football. Needs to learn to get hold of the ball, and sometimes just keeping hold of it and letting players come on to him from our midfield would be hugely advantageous.
You know what? That's a really good point you mentioned. I do remember Paul Eiffel saying on our Christmas show when he came on the live show, and he was saying the best advice that was given to Richard Sadlier was that take a touch.
Correct.
Yeah, and Sadlier was very similar. Sadlier won't do it first time. And I think it might have been Mark
transformed its game. No, it was Ray Harford. Yeah,
Ray Harford, that was
it. It was
correct.
He changed him overnight, didn't it?
It completely changed his game, as Paul Eiffel said. And had he not got injured, he would have become a Premiership player, no doubt. And there's a very, very simple change to his game there. So if Ivanovic can do that and just get used to holding the ball up, like you say, take that touch and then laying the ball off, what a player he could become.
Or maybe protect the ball, Joe, and take the foul. If you take the foul and get us a free kick further up the pitch, great. So that disappoints me that it's all right saying, he's not a target man, that's not his game. Well, I'm sorry, mate, you've got to develop that. You know, you've got to work on that because that's what we need.
Well, look at Steve Morrison when he Kenny Jackett pulled him at half time. And told him, called him a CUNT, didn't he? He told him you got to man up and you got a player up. You can't let the defender bully you. And he went back out second half, and that was, he was a different player from there, wasn't he?
There's a huge difference between a target man and the ball sticking up top as well, and keeping hold of the ball. There's a huge difference in that style of play, right? He's not going to grow 6 inches and become a Peter Crouch target, but he needs to hold the ball up. You mentioned it. It's like a boomerang when he's up there. It goes up, comes back, goes up, comes back.
That's right. Yeah,
you are putting so much strain on the way that we play as well. Then the midfielders to try and press and win it back. The defenders as well. When you're not necessarily in games like Pompey, but when you are up against better footballing teams, your break is by keeping possession and getting up the pitch. And if it's coming straight back all the time, it's just wave after wave or after wave after wave, and you need it to get up the pitch. So he's got to be better than that. He's never been great at it, I don't think, but that is one side that he has to improve on, and improve on quickly if he's going to make it in the Premier League or in higher leagues in Europe.
The other thing I would say to that is you're bang on, and this is a slightly different point, but he's asked to win headers. Right, he's asked to win the flick on for headers. That's basically what we're asking him to do. But there's no one making the run off of it. So he doesn't win every header. It's a bit like, I'll go back to someone that Ben is very, very fond of, Tom Bradshaw. Tom Bradshaw used to win the flick on, and he was the poor sod that used to have to run after it because no one else was up there with him to go and get it. Ivanovic, for all the criticism, he wins some headers, not all of them, but he wins a couple. And the ball just trickles back to the goalkeeper, or it trickles to the defender, to nothing. And he thinks, well, you're asking me to do this. I'm trying my best. It might not be his game. I agree with Steve. You have to develop it a little bit more. But you also, if you are asking him to win the headers and he does win it, you've got to say to your players, your Azizis, your Tens, your wingers, get up there with him, support him, help him, because
and gamble, make those runs.
Yeah, let's be honest. How many strikers say they made a career out of a gamble off of a flick on? You could go 5, 6, 7 times, but the 8th time the header's won, you're in on goal. But you've got to keep doing it. But and again, that's the debate with, do you have a 10
well, it's like
or a second striker?
I scored that goal at the Den. You know, I saw a gamble, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make that run. You know, I didn't think the ball come to me, but the ball did get to me. I made the run. And I scored, and the rest is history, as I say.
It only took an hour and 40. Not bad.
Right.
Just to give some. Sorry, man. Just give some. David Turner does make a good point. I think something we've spoken about collectively. We don't play to his strengths, and he is much better in a 2. But that's the point. He's not a lone striker. So when he is playing up there and has been for a long time, he needs to adapt his game and try and bring an element that's going to help the team. He can't just be like, I can't play that role. So
also
fuck it,
to that point, Ben, and maybe I know whether you got stats there for it, but when's the last time Ivanovic and Coburn played together up front? I mean, towards the end of last season, we went through his massive winning streak and we looked so good scoring goals. And a lot of that was partly down to Coburn and Ivanovic partnering up really well, and Ivanovic scoring lots of goals. And although Coburn weren't scoring as many goals, by having Coburn up front, it allowed Ivanovic to play a little bit more on the shoulder and sniff out those goals and those chances. So again, that hasn't happened much, has it, since Coburn's been backing in? Unless you can tell me otherwise.
No, it'd be a while ago.
But at the beginning of the season, there was a couple of games, weren't there, or one or two, maybe.
That far back, we're thinking. So again. Why is that not happening? How comes it hasn't happened? It just seems very odd to me, doesn't it? You know.
I mean, Coburn got injured, so that also does play a part. But I'm sure that the listeners, Joe, I think you were there yourself at Charlton. At Charlton away, those two they played. I'm sure they played together as a 2 up front at Charlton. It was the last. I think that was one of the last games we did it. They were poor. We were so poor up top. It just didn't work. It didn't stick. And again, Ivanovic was doing, I go back to Tom Bradshaw, running into the corners and being the one to try and put balls into the box. And it just, I'm trying to get an exact answer, but Coburn's injuries hasn't helped the situation, but it didn't really, they started the season together and neither of them really scored any goals, did they? It was goals come from Aziz and Negley and other players. So, but I don't think you can just abandon it. But again, we keep going back to the 10 and the system. Neil is set up in a way where it's one striker. That's just, and as much as there'll be people, my dad's one of them, there'll be people that watch Millwall in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and they'll go, no, 2 up front, got to go 2 up front.
Yeah,
and I love the 2 up front. I really, really do. We're not getting it. So, like we said earlier, Coburn has to be the lone striker. And if you're going to play Ivanovic, you've got to give him a partner.
Well, and Bannon playing deeper and maybe sliding some balls through to him, to his strengths. Let's see what happens with that. Hopefully tomorrow night.
Excellent point. Right, guys, this is going to be a long show. This is so we do our best to get it under 2 hours, but at the moment I can find my OCDs all playing.
Right, switch it off. We're done. Switch it off.
Stato, you got some stats for us, didn't you?
I've got a few.
It's been a long time coming. I said to Stato, listen, Stato, you got to pull your socks up, mate. Exactly. Ben and Disco come with some stats recently, and you got to really earn your keep here. So he's pulled it out of the drawer now. So what have you got for us, Stato?
Okay, well, I used up my midfielder scoring stat earlier. With Casper de Noort. I have to credit a friend of the show, Mr. Clark, for this one. But we were talking about player of the season and votes and things like that. Caleb Taylor has played more minutes of football this season for Millwall than Femi Aziz.
Wow. Who would have thought that, eh?
And that is incredible if you think about how late it took for Caleb to come into the side. Just to, I know Aziz had his injury problems. And then on the game tomorrow, this is a bit of a negative, and I wasn't actually going to say this, but I'm going to.
No, don't.
Out of our last 17 midweek league games,
Ooh, right. I know where this is going.
how many of them have we won?
I'm going to go for something ridiculous, like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I was gonna go something like that. I'll go 4.
Because-
Five.
Because
Five.
if I remember rightly, I think a year ago we had this conversation, or a bit longer, and I think we hadn't won a midweek game in like 13 games. So I'm going to go for a low number.
I believe this doesn't include, for example, around Christmas where the fixture pile up and like
Right,
I
okay.
think this is genuine
Yeah,
when fixtures are scheduled on Tuesdays,
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, we've only won 4 of our last 17 midweek games. So clearly, the
Wow.
atmosphere, Sky, whatever you want to do. However, we've won 3 of our last 4 home league games against Birmingham. So a little bit of a good omen for tomorrow. One thing I do think we do need to have a look at as well, and I saw this and it got me intrigued. Birmingham are the side in the Championship that have hit the woodwork the most times this season.
Really?
Right?
And they
So-
still scored 4 against us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
could've
which
been
is
44 that night.
which
you
is-
were the worst. Ben, I was with you that night, and I've been with you for games before where you've lost it, but you proper fucking lost it that game.
Yeah. Oh, blame disco and getting stuck in traffic.
It was horrible, wasn't it? Just from start to finish.
and a 2-hour walk to the car in the rain. I couldn't believe it. Nowhere in Birmingham could I get a curry because they said that they wouldn't serve me, or one of them said there was no rice. They had no rice left. I could not get a curry in Birmingham for life or money. Like,
First bloke.
what is
ever.
that about? Yeah.
You should have parked 2 hours away like us in West Brom and you'd have got one. Oh, that was
Brilliant
horrible.
stuff. Thank you for those stats,
what I
mate.
would say though on that, and it seems like a bit negative with what I mean. I could only get what I could get that leads to the game tomorrow. Midweek fixture, Birmingham create a lot more chances. So
Yeah.
we have to be prepared tomorrow that Birmingham are going to come at us. The results tonight that I think Jeff has been putting, the results are not going for us tonight. That all that the
No.
teams in 6th, 7th, 8th, and
We
9th
have
are all
to
winning.
win tomorrow. We have to win.
Well,
yeah.
we have to. I don't want to go into a home game and say, "Oh, someone's alarm's going off."
Who's that?
We
That's
can't.
definitely this guy.
It's not.
This-
Yes, I can't hear it.
I heard it in my headphones, so it definitely
I
wasn't
can
me.
hear some disco
I heard it in
music.
here as well.
Yeah.
We cannot lose the game tomorrow. The results this week they're not going for us. Birmingham, if they win, will be right up close. Preston tonight are winning. We play them at the weekend, so we've got to expect Birmingham are going to come. They're unbeaten in 9. They're on the best unbeaten run in the division. It's all going against us.
They even sort out their away form, which was a problem before, but even they're winning away from home now, aren't they, as well? You're right.
It's all going against us, which screams that it'd be 1-0 Millwall, doesn't it?
We're gonna win. We're gonna win 3-0, aren't we, Ben? Tomorrow, guys in the chat, guys in the chat, put your predictions for tomorrow night. In the chat, put your prediction and goal scorers if you can share with us as well.
What I would say, Joe, you mentioned their away form. Their last 3 games they have played Norwich. Okay, they have turned the corner, so get that result. But before that, had played Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday.
That's
so
true.
their form away from home is what I'm clinging on to is pretty bad and
You're
has
right.
been.
Good point.
And if they have won 3 on the spin, I'm going to say it, law of averages, they can't win 4.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so.
I'm going to throw a positive in
performance.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a positive in there in that, and correct me if I've missed any, Watford, Southampton and Wrexham were all absolutely flying, weren't they, when we went to play them? And all 3 of those, we stopped their really good runs.
Good point.
We played well. 2 of those, I'd say we played really well. Wrexham not so well, but look at Wrexham at the minute. They are flying,
Really good point.
and we beat them at
Bristol
their place.
City as well. You could have Bristol City. They're winning,
Bristol
weren't
City
they?
as well. Yeah, another one. So I'll take comfort from bringing on Birmingham. They're a good side. They're a really good side. They're in great form.
We can
They'll
deal
come
with
at
them,
us. I think that might suit us a bit. look,
Yeah.
he's going to have them fired up because that was not acceptable at the weekend. Look, what did we say about tonight, Wrexham? Tonking Pompey, tonking them. So the great Pompey, I'm telling you, we were poor was more. They played well.
What's the score of Wrexham and Pompey now?
2-0. 2-0 at half time.
2-0.
So,
Wow,
you know,
okay.
so that's,
most importantly, Disco, like you kind of touched upon, they're going to come at us, but Ben DeBeaver's just taking the words out of my mouth. They are a possession-based team. They will have more possession than us. And again, we spoke about it at the top of the show, and our struggles when we have more possession than teams. It's going to suit us, or should, in theory, suit us, and our counter-attacking transition is the new word type style of play.
Agreed.
Portsmouth have just got one back against Wrexham, by the way.
Just mentioned Pompey goal.
I take it back. What a team! What a team!
So, guys, so tomorrow, what formation? What's your prediction for tomorrow? We'll start with Disco.
Oh fuck me! I don't think it's a time to change formation.
Do you start with Doughty or do you go with Sturge left back?
I think. I'm gonna go Sturge. I must admit, I think defensively a little bit more solid. We're going to lose a bit offensively, but I'll go Sturge. I'll stick with Patterson in goal. Stick with the back four, other than Sturge.
Yeah.
Centre mid, Billy and Barry, centre mids. I'm going to go. I'm going to start Patterson on the left again. I'm going to go.
I thought he was playing in goal, Disco.
Who?
Watson.
Oh, Watson. Sorry, Watson. No, I want him in both positions. Sorry, Watson
he's that good.
Aziz on the right. Coburn has to start up top.
Who's in a 10?
It's that third midfield. Well, I don't want a fucking 10. I just want a third midfield. So I'm going to go. No, I'm going to say. Mind you, no, I don't think we need Langstaff if I'm going Coburn up front. So I'm going to go a midfield three of Billy, Bannon, and Casper. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop Bannon slightly deeper and just have Billy and Casper slightly ahead of him. So it's sort of different. One of them bombing on to support, but more.
I like that.
More of a 4-3-3 approach, if you like, when we get to attacking.
Yeah. That's a good shout. So do away with the 10, but you still incorporate the three midfielders, aren't you?
Yeah. For now, I would say.
And
but that won't be the team. No way will that be the team. I'm going to go for my head says a draw, but I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to go a cheeky 2-1 with Coburn, and Taylor to score.
Nice. I like it. I can see that now. I can visualize that now, Disco. Ben, how about yourself?
I think
Any
Sturge
changes.
Yeah, I think Sturge 100% plays. And the reason why I say that is I work with a blue nose, and all he's doing is raving about Vincente, is it?
Yeah.
This fellow they've signed in January, and he's supposed to be mustard. And I think in a game where, again, they're going to have more of the ball, we're probably going to be focused more on the defensive side of things. I know Doughty, again, has been excellent defensively, but I think Sturge will just come in with a bit more athleticism defensively for us. So I think that will be nailed on. I don't think we'll see any other changes to the rest of the back four. Does Bannon come in? I don't know. Again, something has to change. For me, the obvious one is Bannon. For me, I would play Bannon over Casper, and it would be Billy and Bannon in central midfield. I don't think we're going to change too much, like what Disco said. I would go with a deeper player and match him up and have the three in midfield as opposed to a 10. I don't see us doing that. So I just think it will be Watson. I don't think Watson will start, actually. I'm thinking about his minutes and managing those. There's going to be a lot of that going on. Sorry, I'm kind of talking out loud, so I'm trying to talk through it. Coburn's definitely going to come in, I would have thought. Femi on the right. I think Negley will be in the 10. You might even see him actually drop deeper rather than be in the 10. So that might be the 3. But then who plays out on the left? I don't know. Will Ballo come in? Don't know.
Interesting one.
So I know I haven't really answered any of that. I've just kind of spoke about what might happen. Score prediction. I will say 2-1 in my heart, and I'm going to say 1-1 is what I actually think will happen.
So what's that? Sorry, what's your score?
So I'm saying 2-1 in my heart, but my head's saying 1-1.
Right, okay. Who's your score, sorry?
The lamppost.
Lamppost, Coburn, both, yeah?
Yeah, we'll go both.
Brilliant. Cheers, Ben. Stato, how about yourself? Bear in mind, we've got 3 minutes here. I can see you grinning there to yourself.
I'm grinning more so. No. I'm grinning more so because I don't know what Ben just said.
No,
I'm trying to work out what he just said, and I don't know.
I think Ben
I don't know what we're going to do.
It's really difficult. This is a bit of I might go a bit odd with this one, but I wouldn't drop Doherty, but I wouldn't play him at left back either.
Right. You alluded to this early in the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I would push Doherty further forward.
Okay.
Bring Sturge in at left back and have a little bit more pace at left back to deal with the threat of that Vicente that Birmingham have. A little bit horses for courses there, someone to try and match up a little bit, and then you still have the quality of Doherty, and also he will help Sturge a little bit.
Defensively,
what that does do is it gives you an option with Watson off the bench if you're managing minutes, and also there was talk about, is our bench that strong with options coming off of it? You then have an attacking player that you could bring on. The other change I would make is I'm going to slightly contradict what I was talking about earlier, but something we were discussing earlier. I actually would take Negley out of the side and I would put Langstaff in the team, because if they're going to try and have a lot of possession at the back and play it around, you need someone that's going to press and press and press, and I think Langstaff can do that. Whether or not that's it comes into the thinking, I don't know. And maybe a Coburn for Ivanovic, as I said earlier. I think if Coburn's fit or his illness is gone, I think that's the change. It seems quite dramatic because you're making quite a few changes, but I think we have to do something after the nature of the defeat to that point there. Who Sturge comes in for Watson, Doherty plays wide left, Sturge goes back to left back, and Langstaff and Coburn come in for Negley and Ivanovic. Again, Alex Neil might turn around and go, right, you were crap on Saturday, I'm going to give you the opportunity to rectify it and go with the same team. I don't know. But if it was me, I would look at making some changes, because we've got to do something to react to Saturday. You can't just throw the same team out there, because if Birmingham play anywhere near like Portsmouth, we're done.
And Alex Neil historically
is a decent shout. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And historically, Alex Neil has always changed games for midweek games. He always plans. He plans his teams in advance. He always talks about how he had this player in mind for that game, and he's going to change it for that game. And so I would be surprised to see a few changes. I, for one, will keep Patterson in goal. I'll go Sturge left back, give Doughty a bit of a rest. I would go Crammer right back, Taylor, Cooper centre back. I will do a midfield three with Casper, Bannon and Billy. I'll probably put Casper in the 10 and Billy and Bannon in the double pivot role, playing a little bit deeper. However, I'm not against the idea of what Disco said by playing Bannon in the 6 and having 2 8s with Billy and Casper. But either way, I think you've got to get them 3 involved. I'll stick with Watson on the left. Yeah, he had 60 minutes. He come through that quite well on Saturday. I think the next gear is, can you do 70 minutes? Can you do 75 minutes? I think you've got to keep playing and get those minutes up. Get Aziz on the right-hand side. That's a non-brainer. And then Coburn up front. And, of course, you can always bring Ivanovic on, can't you, second half, if need be. So that would be my level. Score-wise, I've got a funny feeling we're going to win this one 2-0. I can see 2-0. I can see Coburn scoring. And I'd probably fancy Watson getting one as well. So it'll be Coburn and Watson. Nice, so that'd be my prediction.
I'll tell you what, Joe. That's a decent team you've just called there, isn't it? Look at that. That is a decent team. I mean, every 11 we've said is pretty decent. So look, I think we're being a bit hard on ourselves. We're a decent team. And
also,
look,
if we get the changes. Sorry, go on, Disco. Go on, mate. Sorry.
No, look, if we get over Saturday, which was hopefully a blip rather than a form, you know, we can give them a bloody good game and hopefully
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But also, you look about the change on the bench. We talked in previous game. There's no one on the bench to turn games around. Well, you could have Ivanovic on the bench. You've got Langstaff on the bench. You've got Negley on the bench. You've got Del Boy on there. You know, there's options there. Ballo, perhaps. You know, so there are players that could come on and freshen things up in the second half. But I think we've got to make sure defensively we're strong. I think midfield has to be on point. And I think we've got to have a threat going forward. And that is, for me, Watson, Aziz, and Koba is our biggest threat. So you've got to play to our strengths, you know. So that's it. So any final words, guys? Thank you to guys in the chat. Ben, final words, mate, and before we say goodbye to our listeners.
Final words. Keep the faith. It was one bad result. I know I said earlier, it hasn't been... performances haven't matched the results, but that's a good thing, right? We're winning, having not played well. Put a line through Saturday. We have got a huge next 5 games now. I've said it before that there was a run sort of in Jan that was a season-defining run. I think we're in that point again. I think it's a season-defining run now with the teams we've got coming up. I wouldn't be against 5 draws, being perfectly honest, just to stop the teams in and around us gaining points on us. But keep the faith. See everyone there on Saturday who's going to Preston.
Awesome. Cheers, Ben. And coming to your next stat. Before we do, guys in the chat that's still watching live, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I can see there's 90 of you on YouTube. I think it's about 45 on Twitter watching at the moment. So please make sure you like. We've got 75 likes so far. We want to get to 300, and hope we can do that with your help. So please make sure you like and the channel. Sato, how about yourself, mate?
I'll start with personal, then go to Millwall. I've just put a link in the chat, guys. As I announced last week, I am running 100 miles in April for cancer research. All of the funds that are donated are going towards the Chat with Chaps total. So everything will be added to it as well. So it all adds in. I won't go through everything again, but I wanted to do something for the channel, and this is it. A couple of the listeners have actually donated to me, and I really appreciate it, guys. I think Rosalind has donated since we've been on tonight, so I really appreciate that. If you'd like to support me, please feel free to. No pressure. Even if it's £1, that's good enough. You know, every pound counts, but please don't feel under any pressure to do so. But if you'd like to, the link is in the chat now. And then back to final thoughts on Millwall. This day 2 years ago, we travelled to Southampton with Neil Harris in charge, doomed and gloomed at the bottom of the league. We just expected that Southampton were going to absolutely steamroll us. And that
I was
day,
there. I was there.
I was there as well. That day has kick-started a series of events that have led us to this point. As Ben said, one game. We might have come across negative and we might want to make changes. I think changes still need to happen because you've got to keep people fresh. But one game doesn't define our season. We are currently 4th. Obviously, Ipswich are winning tonight, so we've dropped down a spot. We're 4th in the league. We've got a buffer. We've got it in our own hands. It's time now to really get behind the team. Tomorrow night's massive. If it doesn't go our way, the season isn't over. Yes, there'll be a meltdown. Yes, people will have their say, but it's not over, because if you then flip that and we do win the game, everything's hunky-dory again and we move on to Preston. So as Ben said, keep the faith. One bad result doesn't derail the season. We've got a good team. We've got the best manager that we could possibly have at the moment. And it's time to be a little bit more positive and say we are going to be a playoff team. We are going to get in the top 6 and we can get over the line.
Well said. Well said. What was your prediction? Sorry, your score prediction?
2-0. And I'm going to go
2-0. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Caleb Taylor and Josh Coburn.
There you go. Perfect. Cheers, Stato. And Disco, we're going to end with yourself, mate. Before we go Disco, guys, if you got this far, and you're still watching this at the moment, or you're watching and recording, you got to the end, the line you got to put in the comments is run, Stato, run. Okay? Run, Stato, run. So if you're with us, to prove you got to the end, I want to see run, Stato, run in the comments after the show's over. So make sure you go back into the show after and type it in the comments. Disco, final words for yourself, mate?
Yeah, enjoyed the show, Joe, and great having Craig on, wasn't it, as well? And look,
Yeah, he was good, weren't he?
Yeah, really, really enjoyed that. And look, the listeners, as always, brilliant. Some great comments and contributions.
We've got the best listeners.
We definitely have the best listeners. But I'll tell you what, we do not have the best listeners for liking a show. They are bloody shit, quite frankly.
How many likes we got, Disco?
79. 79. I want you to look at yourselves and give yourselves a slap round the chops. That is absolutely disgraceful behaviour on a Tuesday night. We go for 300 and we're on 79. Look, and I know what they're up to. Just because Bex isn't on, they all spit their dummy out and don't bloody. When Bex is on, it's 300 plus. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Well, guys, drop the mouse chauvinist stuff. Get them get liking. It's not for vanity. It is all good for the show and all good for the algorithms.
We'll try and also, Steve, week, won't we? On that point, do they not know Benny's? Do they not realise the face that runs the place?
That's right.
Get the likes up.
Exactly. So come on, guys. You're making this look a bit embarrassing here. So please like as much as you can. Look, on the Millwall front, I think the guys have said it and they're right. Look, it's going to be a little bit rocky, and this week could particularly be. We've all got to keep our nerve. I think what I really like and what we've got to think of, because you're in the top 6 now, and we might go down to 4th or 5th tonight, okay, or that, and even tomorrow night, it's nice being in there and teams chasing you. And even if you lose, you're staying in there. How many times have we been chasing and we might win and still not get in there, even though teams have lost? So that is a benefit for us, and we need to use that. So I think we are going to have a bit of a rocky week or two, but we've got to keep at it. And look, 3 points would be massive. But I like Stephen said, look, we've got to make sure we don't go off the scale if we do lose. Keep with it. We're not going to suddenly become a bad team overnight. Look, there's good times ahead. So fingers crossed that starts tomorrow night. That's me.
Absolutely. So look, thank you so much to our listeners. I can see there's still 128 of you watching, 84 on YouTube. As Stato said, please make sure you like. If you watch this back afterwards, make sure you like. Let's try and get to our target of 300. Let's try and get to it if we can. And look, all to play for tomorrow. As the guys has just said, we always perform really well against teams that are playing really well or in form. So there's no reason why we can't beat Burnham tomorrow night and do a job on them and keep our playoff and promotion hopes alive. Thank you so much to my co-hosts, to Ben, to Stato, to Disco for coming on. Thank you to my listeners for being with us this evening. Really do appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one next week. Enjoy the game tomorrow and bye for now.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you